Yes, hello. I am James Rowlands, and today it's the WNR528. It's Summerslam. It's the party of the summer. We cannot wait. Unbelievably, it is the 10th Summerslam on the WNR podcast, and luckily I'm not alone today. I have the pleasure to be joined by our resident NXT expert and New Japan demigod. It is Monty. How's it going, man?
How is everybody? Happy SummerSlam. Happy, I feel like a holiday. Some of these big shows, and so that's why I kind of said it like that. But happy to be here again on another big time event, another live show. It's been a while since we've been able to come together like this, so these are usually fun. We have a we have a pretty good card. A lot of good stories being in the middle of being told or something. We'll see if any of those are about to be complete. But yeah, man, SummerSlam, man, is biggest party of the summer, as they used to say. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Without a doubt, I'm glad to have you along, buddy. And last, but by no means least, I've got to do my throat for this, and I apologise for the sound as well. Summer loving had me a blast. Summer loving happened so fast. I met a girl crazy for me. I'm a boy, cute as can be. Summer days drifting away to a low summer night. Oh well, oh well, oh well. Tell me more, tell me more. Was it love at first sight? Tell me more, tell me more. Did he pull up a fight? It turned colder. That's where it ends. So I told her we'd still be friends. Then we made our love true vow. Wonder what she's doing now. Summer dreams ripped at the seams. But low summer nights. Tell me more, tell me more. That might be the greatest one I've ever done. The Danny to my Sandy. It's Gina. How's it going?
Yo, I'm definitely down with saying that that's your best one yet. I absolutely loved it. How's it going, partner in crime? How you doing, my Sandy?
Oh, my God. I'm catching my breath back. There's no doubt about that.
That was awesome. I'm clapping for you.
Well, I've got chills, and they are multiplying. But hopefully,
Monty's crying, but I'm clapping.
I don't want anything to do with this. Oh God.
No, to be fair, Monty, it ended a lot better than it started. So we're going to take that.
Yeah, for sure. We'll take it, James.
I
love it.
Without doubt. We have got all the fun and games expected today. Mass debate, history of Summeslam Quiz, Raw and Smackdwon catch-up, news, and, of course, predictions. But, Gina, let's address the elephant in the room, or the elephant not in the room. Where the fuck is Jaxie?
She quit. He couldn't take how bad her stats were, and she decided to quit. She couldn't take the heat. So, no, I'm joking. Jaxie is busy today. Unfortunately, she is totally rude and decided to have a life. No one asked her to have a life, but she did. She went on and she did it anyway. So, yes, unfortunately, Jaxie is busy.
Well, to be fair, I believe the first part, you know. But again, we'll get on to that with predictions.
She's not here to defend herself, so we can do it all we like.
No, but it means, though, as well, that, me and Monty kind of have got something new, and I don't know if, you want to see it. I'm not joking.
Give us consent, please.
Yeah, you got to give us consent first, Gina.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Okay. Monty, do you want to do the honours? Because you know what it is.
No, I'm going to let you do it.
Oh, great. Well, okay. So, Gina, basically, it's a magical new world of the WNR podcast. And it means when I say a certain wrestler's name, something happens. I don't know if you're up to date with this, but if I was to say Joe Hendry,
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe
Am I supposed to respond to that?
I believe in Joe Hendry.
No. The Joe Hendry theme does play. Don't know if you can hear it where from you are, but obviously at home. To be fair, it worked a lot better last week. I'm not going to lie, Monty, but I thought I'd try it.
Yeah,
I'm
a lot
slow.
smoother.
We'll move on. Again, it's a party. We've had a few drinks already, you know, everybody can tell. But again, like I said, a lot to cover. But let's look at AEW first, because obviously there have been a few events happening in the past couple of weeks. We had the 250th episode of Dynamite with MJF beating Will Ospreay. I want to know what our thoughts on this. How do we rate this? Gina, I'll start with you. MJF and Ospreay, what were your thoughts? Was this the greatest match in the world? Or, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so it wasn't the greatest match in the world, and I've seen both of these wrestlers have amazing matches. I don't know if they were slightly holding off on making it even more of a bigger match, because I'm sure that they are going to have another match against each other and make it more of a bigger deal. So I wouldn't exactly say it was their best match, but I will also say that I was very intrigued because I kind of wasn't sure how it was going to go down. It seemed, in my eyes, a bit too soon to have such a big match between Ospreay and MJF, and then all of a sudden we're just getting it like that. So again, I feel like their best is yet to come, as in their best with each other is yet to come. So I enjoyed the match. I was very intrigued to see how it was going to play out and the outcome of it. I'm not surprised by the outcome and how it went down, but I feel like I can understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, Monty, what are your thoughts? Because obviously, I've complained about maybe longer matches, and I did think this went too long, and again, I don't know what you thought about this, because obviously with AEW, it's a bit more impartial than maybe me.
Yeah, I thought the match was good. Definitely could understand the criticism about how long it went. Mostly my criticism about the length of the match has more so to do with the style that they decided to go with. I remember Danielson and Hangman went 60 minutes, or was it Kenny and Danielson? One or both went 60 minutes, and and I just remember that being paced just very much better. And the thing is about Ospreay's style is it doesn't necessarily lend itself well, to my opinion, a long match when you're going balls to the wall, typical Ospreay, like they were. And I think it kind of dragged for a bit because you were just watching them go for it, but you just knew that it just felt like, okay, it's not finished yet, and they're kind of padding for time in different ways, and it's just kind of awkward, based on what we're used to, especially from an Ospreay match. And even for Max, I saw some people trying to say that it was done a certain way for a reason because of what Max skill level. But honestly, I think these two guys probably would have been better off just having a more concise match, and then we just get to the finish that we got. I don't think it needed the hour. But I do understand the sentiment, and I understand just for letting two guys go out there and give us great wrestling. So I'm not going to complain. But I do think anybody who said it was too long, all right. Anybody who enjoyed it, I think you're right to say that it was enjoyable. But I just feel like, was it worthy of the hour? Was it the best match I've ever seen? No. And I think based on the story that we're seeming to get from this point, I think we're probably going to get more of this down the line. Even though I don't mind Max winning the way he did, it was just still one of those situations where it's like, well, we do have a big show coming up, and I think maybe this is laying groundwork for that. But the hour match definitely kind of killed it, in my opinion, when I think they could have told the exact same story to me in 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
Yeah, without a doubt. We also saw Swerve and Okada ended in DQ. Collision was in a much smaller arena and looked so much better. Sometimes it is the best way of doing things, No more Elton John either, cost cutting. That's what we're talking about. And the Patriarchy beat Bang Bang Gang to become the trio champions. And then we had Blood and Guts, July 24th. And Monty, again, man, I don't know what it is about bloody Americans, but MJF unveiled the American Championship. You know, USA. I mean, I did like his flag, even if it is like American or continental, kind of feels like a W wannabe. But, you know, I don't know. And then, like you said, Ospreay challenged him for All In, which I'm sure will be a good match, you know. But, again, anyway, Jericho and Suzuki had the same match as Jericho did with Ishii. Tony Storm returned to have an exchange with May. Storm is ready to die. And then the Blood and Guts match, Team AEW, Swerve, Allen, Briscoe, and Acclaim beat the Elite. Gina, what were your thoughts on Blood and Guts? Because, again, this is the 3rd or 4th edition now. I mean, it was just, again, another hour-long match with some good bits.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like one of those Carnage matches that kind of, in my opinion, this one went in up and down, in and out, in terms of like, okay, shit, man, that was a heavy spot. And then a little quiet spell of just, you know, tomfoolery back and forth, setting things up, and then oh shit, another hot spot, like things like that. So it wasn't the worst Blood and Guts like match I've seen, but I don't know, there's something that did fall a bit flat for me in this match. And I'm not saying that it was boring at all, it was very entertaining, but I know that there have been better ones, so I'm not sure, like, it's not even a case of there wasn't enough blood or there wasn't enough, you know, this or that. I don't know if it's kind of because we've seen this happen quite a lot now that some of the spots get repeated and things like that, so it doesn't feel like anything new. But either way, I did still enjoy it. I enjoyed watching certain team ups as well happen, but yeah, it was okay. It wasn't the best one.
Yeah, and I think, again, like I said, with the ending as well, with, you know, Darby Allin threatening to set Jack Perry on fire, you're going, oh, that's quite extreme, but we have seen Perry on fire. So again, it's, you know, I don't know if AEW kind of stumbled a little bit. And also, Monty, I don't know what you think, but again, it's like, yeah, the Elite lose, but what did Team AEW get from it? You know, the Elite is just going to carry on just as normal now, you know?
Just continue to have power. I think the thing is about Blood and Guts, I think in theory it's something you can do once a year, but it's probably best saved for the multi-factional blood feuds. But I know that happens a lot in AEW, but it seems like every year now we're contriving a reason for people to kind of get into these situations, when I think it'll actually be better off, the spots will feel fresher and all of that, if we didn't have this happen, if we wasn't expecting it to happen once a year. Now I get it, AEW kind of, since they don't do as many pay-per-view type of deals, even though they're starting to do more, they kind of like throwing these theme shows to make Dynamite feel special, and I get it. But I just feel like that would benefit the match type. But you're 100% right. The stakes is kind of, all right, you know what, like you said, what does the Elite use? It wasn't even, and the real reason why you would do that is maybe you could give the power back to Tony, or strip the EVPs of some of their strokes, and actually that would make a bigger impact, but they didn't even go that far. So it was just, like you said, it's one of those matches. But I did love Okada, who is notoriously in New Japan shitted on these type of matches. He hates these type of matches. So it's very cool that he got paid to basically take the least amount of damage.
He did get stapled to the finger, was the kind of biggest thing.
The biggest thing he took.
You know.
So I did love that he still kind of kept his word and not really becoming a hardcore wrestler that he used to. Him and Tanahashi would always scoff at Kenny Omega for bringing ladders in the ring, so to speak. So it's kind of cool that he still didn't. He basically did it. Got paid and got the benefits, but didn't do anything.
And again, don't worry, you know, we will have a bigger AEW dive when we do All In. We'll talk about the kind of Owen Hart tournament. But we just want to talk about Dynamite as well, with Bryan Danielson coming out. Now, Gina, we are going to All In, you know, and again, the main event will be Swerve versus Danielson. But I don't know about you, but Danielson announced that if he loses, he will retire. And I don't know if that made the match bigger or just kind of ruined the finish. I don't know what your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I definitely get what you mean there, because in a way, you do kind of feel like it does ruin the finish already with that sort of announcement, because you're like, okay, well, surely they're not going to have Bryan Danielson lose this, not have an AEW title reign at all in the entire time he's been there, and just retire out because that's the stipulation he's put in here. So now you all kind of have this expectation that he's gonna get the win, which also kind of then gives you a little bit of the disappointment that like Swerve is gonna lose, you know. And maybe they don't do it like that, but to be honest, that's what everyone's kind of going to go into the match thinking, and leading up to the match this whole time, you know, all the promos that happen, people are just going to have that thought in the back of their mind, you know, Danielson's going to win this because he can't leave AEW without having one title reign. So in a way, it makes the match more exciting, because you're just like, no, we cannot see him have a run like that where he's joined this program, been there for what, 2-3 years now, and not actually get a title reign before he has to retire out. So it does add to the excitement, but then it also adds to the spoilery of the possible ending.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And it wouldn't be AEW without some juicy backstage news. And this was quite a surprise. It happened on the 250th episode of Dynamite. And Britt Baker, allegedly, I mean, this is a story, says something about MJF, which his girlfriend heard. MJF then confronted Baker about it, resulted in MJF punching a wall before his hour-long match. And Britt Baker was suspended and fined by AEW, and we're not sure when she's going to come back. I mean, Monty, this wasn't CM Punk's fault.
Somehow it is, though. I don't know if you. Yeah, it actually was. I don't know exactly what he did, but it was definitely Punk's fault. Yeah, man. This is just, hey, it's that time of year, man. We're going into All In. You know, there's something about Wembley. You guys, I don't know what it is about going over there. You know, I blame ever since. Hey, they're getting a tradition at this point. If they're gonna go every year, they're gonna do all Wembley every year. Then they should start drama every year, you know, or something, so they can just keep the excitement, keep the tradition going. No, I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's just weird. You know, they felt the need to suspend her. And you know that's very interesting, seeing as she hasn't been back that long. So you can assume that whatever she said was, you know, crossed some type of line, but also Max hitting the wall and, you know, going into the women's locker room. Even though I heard it wasn't barging, but some people say he barged. Who knows? I don't know. I don't really get into all of those semantics. We're not backstage. But it's just one of those situations where it's like, even with the committee, even with all the changes AEW has claimed to have made, and these things happen. Don't get it twisted. Like, I know WWE keeps saying that it's like a rainbows backstage, but even some of their wrestlers, even Punk, I've heard reference. I know I saw the Miz and Cody talking about how good things seem to be backstage in WWE, but they talk about it as, can you believe it? So they even know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, these things kind of happen in wrestling. You know, the locker rooms are rarely the utopias I think we all would like it to be, just like most workplaces. So on one end, I give them a break, but it's just also one of those things where you kind of got to look at AEW and you just say, okay, with the discipline committees, with all the things you guys have claimed to change and do this, somehow we're all in you guys' backstage drama business once again. So, you know, I don't know. At this point, it's fun. I think it's a great way to be in the news cycles at this point. You know, that's what it feels like.
The issue is as well, and Gina, I don't know what you think about this, but again, has it ruined another all-in result? Because you're thinking, someone that's been suspended and fined, are they going to walk out as champion? Yeah, and again, it's just, as Monty says, like, Tony must be pulling his hair out if he's not kind of, if he's not already.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already curious. Like, what the fuck do you think she said that was so bad? I'm sure she wasn't like, oh, Max has a little dick or something like that. You know, it's like really got to be something personal for Max to have, like, basically blown up like that. And also, sorry, but like his new girlfriend, what a snitch bitch. Like, sort out your own problems yourself. Go to Brit and say, I don't like the way
Yeah.
you were chatting about my man. Like, I don't understand why like this beef had to like kind of happen. Yes, we all have workplace issues. All of us do. We've all
Yep.
experienced it. There are people that really irk us off. Yes, I've even lost my shit at co-workers before, but there's also ways to handle it. You know, you can go up to someone and actually have that conversation with them and just be like, look, I don't think this was needed to be said. They probably could have tried to work it out amongst them. I don't know the situation, obviously, but in my eyes, I'm looking at it like Max's new girlfriend is a snitch bitch. I mean, he's not exactly been with her that long. So the fact that they can get this to happen is crazy. But again, like James said, it's kind of just ruined the story that like Brit was going to be coming back to be having with Mercedes, because everyone was waiting for this. Everyone was waiting for Brit's return anyway, regardless as to whether Mercedes had returned and got the belt. We all were kind of missing Brit from our screens. And the fact that this has now happened and we now are kind of feeling a bit cheated out of this match, I feel. And even if this match does go ahead, I feel like Brit is more going to lose because of a punishment rather than, you know, oh, we're protecting Mercedes and Mercedes deserves to keep the belt still or anything like that. No, I'm just going to see it as Brit is being punished.
Yeah. And also, you know, you got to
yeah.
feel sorry for the real victim, Adam Cole. You know, probably sitting at home just happily playing computer games, and Brit comes through the door and tells him that, and he's like, oh, my wife and my best friend, like, you know, so
Well,
there are real
that's
victims
the
in
thing.
this, you know?
I don't really know about Adam Cole because there's a rumor going around that those two have split up as well and he's moved out. So
Oh my God, we're getting all here.
it's
Yeah,
the real
yeah, it's
housewife
weird
gossip
because,
here, guys.
like I
You
said,
heard it
she
here
has
first.
the reputation as the problematic when he's just known as like such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
But also, you realize, also they say Max and Britt kind of fell out a while back too. So it's like, yeah, it's so much stuff that we don't know, obviously. And then with the whole thing is like that, you're 100% right, Gina, because it's not even about the argument or the conversation with Max or whatever that was said. All of that can happen. Why does it have to go to HR and somebody gets suspended? You know what I mean? Like the fact that it goes that far is the thing that's very interesting because, like you said, people say stuff all the time. I don't really know what she could have said about Max. Maybe she was complaining that he got an hour match that's taking up TV time that they could have told other stories. Like, just say, let's say she said something like that. How does that get back to Max and then creates this entire problem that she would be punished for? So it's just really, really insane to me how any of this stuff could just turn into what it turns into. And then it always gets back to us. That's the problem.
Well,
like
yeah.
the thing is about the Adam Cole thing, we don't know if that's true or not, but we don't I don't know how that's even out. Like, why the hell do we know all of this?
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I'll tell you something that will solve everything. Shane McMahon coming to AEW. I mean, Gene.
Oh, fuck off. No. Honestly, don't. I can. I've already had it in the ear from Jaxie saying, don't. Just don't.
No, I really want to hear what you got to say. I want to know what the people who really stand by, not necessarily all the decision making. I don't want to paint you that you just stand by Tony's decision making, but give me the logic of an AEW fan that of why this needs to happen. Because I've seen some ridiculous stuff. I've seen people literally trying to convince themselves that this makes sense.
I mean, Gina, anything positive? Like
anything you can say.
There's nothing positive that I can get from this because at the end of the day, if I'm talking realistic, him joining and what being put on the screens, if he's joining for a backstage thing, fine. I've got nothing to say to it. But if he's going to be taking up TV time, like AEW has a big enough roster that isn't being used as it is. Like,
especially
Shane
MJF
is
having hour matches.
Fucking no, don't.
Exactly.
Just don't. He'll just take the time and attention away from even more of the wrestlers on that roster that don't get time already. You know, I just can't. That's what annoys me the most about it.
Well, I tell you something, one of my favourite Shane McMahon moments was actually against Test at Summerslam 1999, which was my first Summerslam watching as like a boy and recording a VHS. And with that segue, we're going to talk about the history of SummerSlam and the quiz. Now, Gina, I know
How long ago that was?
you're not going to call yourself. Oh, sorry, Gina. Hang on a second. Fuck you, Monty. Gina, I know for the quiz. Like, some of these questions will be tough. Monty has already said he's going to slaughter you. All right. But again, some of these should be all right. All right. So, what we're going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to struggle, but I'm going to do it with grace.
Yeah. What we're going to do, we're going to score this on points. No bonus points, but just like a point for each answer correct. So, obviously, Gina and Monty, if both of you can't get it, I get a point. That's fair enough, isn't it?
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So we go then. And I've done a lot of work on this, and it just shows how much time I've got in my hands. The history of SummerSlam and quiz. And it all started when? When did the first SummerSlam take place?
Oh, do we have to say me or?
Well, if you say your name, and then I'll be like, okay.
Queen G.
Right, go on.
That's her name.
This is one that I do remember because I think it was the year before I was born. So like 88 or was it 87? 88.
No, stop talking. Yeah, Gina, it was. You got it right.
Yeah,
Yeah, get in there.
Green Monty.
Yeah, Monty's in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so let's go.
I'm not gonna say the joke I was gonna say. I'm just gonna leave that alone. I have respect.
Another age thing. Right, great. So let's go back then. Let's go back to 1988. As the Mega Powers exploded, and Macho Man had quite a connection to the event, even getting married at the 1991 edition. He was in the main event of 89 and faced Dusty Rhodes in 1990. But the question I have is, who did he face in 1992? Who did Macho Man face?
Monty. This is me.
Go on, Monty.
I'm gonna try my best here. Is it Ultimate Warrior?
In 1992, it was the Ultimate Warrior.
Macho King.
Well. Macho King. We did review it on the podcast, Gina.
Right.
So, I mean, that is a fair thing to say.
No,
so the other
that's
question,
fair. I mean, to be fair, Monty just has a lot of wrestling knowledge over me, so I wouldn't have known that. He definitely would have.
No,
okay, well,
I vividly remember that. It's not just that. It's just like that's one of my favorite Macho Man matches because he was one of the only people to get a competitive good match out of Ultimate Warrior back in the day. And him and Elizabeth embraced after that. He was heel all that time. And they kissed or hugged for the first time, and everybody lost their mind. Right? That's the one, right?
No, well, that's the WrestleMania 7 where they hugged afterwards, but this was for the WF title a bit later.
Okay.
But where was this SummerSlam held? In 1992, where was SummerSlam held? And we have reviewed it on the pod.
Oh, this one I do know. Gina.
Go on.
That's the one and only SummerSlam that was in London.
Yes, it was.
There you go.
It was London Wembley Stadium. So, after a classic IC match between Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect in 91, heading face Shawn Michaels in 93, with his showstopper taking the mantle of Mr. SummerSlam. More of that in a bit. The Lex Express was running wild in 93, but by 94, the wheels had fallen off, with Bret and Owen having a classic feud and legendary steel cage match at the 1994 edition. But shockingly, this wasn't the main event, which was one of the worst matches of any years that main evented this edition. So what was the main event of SummerSlam 94?
I
think I'm gonna get my first point.
Can I guess?
Yep.
This is gonna be a super wild guess, but
I'm gonna guess too.
Is this was it Hogan and Bret?
No, it wasn't that.
Damn.
Monty?
One of the worst ever. I'm confusing manias and oh crap. Dang it. Was Diesel in it?
No.
Okay, go ahead. I don't even want to guess then.
All right, so the main event, it was Undertaker versus Undertaker. That was
Oh
the main
yeah,
event.
yeah, that miss. Yeah, that was
Brian
pretty bad.
Wait, explain, please. Wait, what?
Uh,
I don't remember that. So explain.
basically, The Undertaker lost to Yokozuna in a casket match at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And disappeared off TV. And Ted DiBiase, who was the original kind of manager of The Undertaker, introduced Undertaker, but it was a fake Undertaker, played by Brian Lee. And then Leslie Nielsen showed up and searched for the real Undertaker, which Paul Bearer then brought out. They thought it was actually going to be a thing. They had one match. Everybody hated it. They moved on.
Yeah.
Well, I can understand
Undertaker fans
now.
try to forget this.
I was going to say, I can understand why I don't know about this. If they kind of wanted us to forget about it, they're not going to really press on that.
Yeah.
As Monty mentioned, Diesel and Mabel was the main event
But
in
nice.
SummerSlam 1995. But
Yes,
the only good
you
thing
go.
to happen at SummerSlam 95 was a rematch from WrestleMania 10. What was that match?
No. It wasn't that. What was it?
One of the most famous
Pass.
matches of WrestleMania 10. And they had a rematch at SummerSlam 95.
Goldust Roddy?
No, another point to me. I'm pleased. It was Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon in a ladder match
How the hell I
for the
forget this?
Intercontinental title.
Yeah,
I
I
know
wouldn't have known that.
To be
How did
fair,
I
though,
forget
guys, like this for me is recent
Why did I
history.
think Piper?
Like, yeah, no, but again, I think SummerSlam 94 was only a couple of years after, started watching. The 1996 edition featured Paul Bearer turning on The Undertaker in a shocking moment. Elsewhere, Shawn Michaels called Vader stupid, which he was lucky to get away with. But the question, though, and Monty and Gina, this is a tough one. Which two Hall of Famers faced off on the kickoff in their one and only meeting? And this is difficult.
I am not going to have a clue, so I'm a pass.
Yeah, I'm past too.
You know what? This is crazy. It's on the VHS that I saw, and it was Yokozuna versus Steve Austin. The rope snapped. As well,
The
but...
rope snap. Yeah.
Did Steve Austin have hair?
No, he was
No.
just coming into his Stone Cold character. He just
I
wanted
think
to
it was
ring
right
the-
before. Yeah, right before he took off. Yeah, right before. That was a
Interesting.
bonus on a DVD or Austin DVD I had. So if I would have knew that was like a pre-show, I didn't even assume that. There you go. All right, fair enough.
All right. You be better at the moment. On the 7th question, I'm on 3 points. Gina's on 2. Monty, you're on 1. To be fair, I thought you'd be doing a lot better, but we're going to pick this up. All right. In 1997, Shawn Michaels accidentally hit Undertaker with a steel chair as special guest referee. I think that was like 27 years ago today. It happened, of course, costing him the title and making Bret a 5-time champ. But in 1998, it was a highway to hell, with the Undertaker again coming up short for the W title versus Stone Cold. But it was a ladder match at SummerSlam 98 for the Intercontinental title, which stole the show. What was that match? And again, a clue, they are both Hall of Famers. And they were both leaders.
Did you say
of
it was a ladder
respective
match?
groups.
Oh,
It was a
Triple
ladder
H and The
match.
Rock. Oh, my fault.
There he goes.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Nation and
Fair
DX.
play,
Yeah. Nation and DX.
For a bonus point, though, where was that event held?
Oh, you're killing me with these locations.
I'm gonna guess somewhere in America. Let's go with New York.
Yes,
it's
it
the
was
most-
New York. It was
Wow.
Madison Square
Shut up! No, James, shut
Wow.
up! Are you being serious?
No, I'm not. It was one of my favourite openings to a pay-per-view. JR
I am a
going,
guru.
It's a hot summer night here in New York City. So, yes, Gina. You
Good job.
I am a guru.
All right, so Jesse the Body Ventura returned to the WF to special guest referee Stone Cold v Triple H v Mankind, with Foley winning the title only to lose it the next night.
Next night.
Weirdly enough, they wanted the babyface win with Jesse as ref. Austin didn't want a job to Triple H, but was happy to be pinned by Mick. And another crazy fact, China was actually number one contender for much of that build-up to the event, having beat Triple H and The Undertaker in the triple threat match. Just a bit of history there. Anyway, moving on to 2000. It had a great triple threat match for the WF title. Rock Angle and Triple H went to war, and Kurt's head bouncing off the announce table like a basketball. But it was that TLC, the very first TLC, that stole the show. And a very simple question, boys and girls. Who were the three teams involved?
The Dudleys, Edge and Christian, Matt and Jeff.
Yep, there you go. That was the very first TLC match. The invasion.
Say, that's pretty cool because those three teams, they were all known individually for each one as well. So it was like the Dudleys were the tables. I think it was the Edge and Christian. They were the ladders, weren't they? And the Hardys were the chairs. Oh yeah, and then the Hardys are the ladders. Yeah, sorry.
Hey, we're all learning. The invasion was the main story in 2001 with WF versus WCW versus ECW. But what was the main event of SummerSlam 2001? And until a recent NXT event, it was the last, I think, PLE or pay-per-view to be main evented in this way.
Oh, Booker T and The Rock.
There you go. See?
You know what? I was going to say The Rock and Stone Cold, so at least I would have gotten one half.
The invasion was the first clue, because I was like, okay, I remember. Because this was for like the world heavyweight title, right? Whatever. Or
Stone Cold joined them after that, wasn't it?
He wrestled Kurt Angle on that on the card, if you know what I mean. So he betrayed him like the month before.
Right. Okay.
Again, not a lot of people talk about the invasion. Personally, though, 2002 was the greatest SummerSlam of all time. You had Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio kicking off the show. You had Edge versus Eddie Guerrero, and the main event and Brock versus Rock. But it was the man returning to the ring for the first time in 4 years that really stole the show. Who returned at this event, and who did he face?
Shawn Michaels, Triple H, right?
Yep, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. There's 2 points there. I will give you that.
Sledgehammer to the back after the celebration, right? Or something like that.
Sledgehammer, yeah. I still remember like it was yesterday. You know that. 2003 was actually the first official SummerSlam party that I had. We had all my mates round here as well. But it was the Elimination Chamber with Chris Jericho, Kevin Nash, Randy Orton, and Shawn Michaels. But who did Triple H pin to retain in this match and piss a lot of people off?
Was
it Jericho?
It weren't Jericho. It was a guy.
Goldberg.
It was Goldberg.
Yeah, because Goldberg was supposed to be the one. He was supposed to win it there. Because Triple H was fighting hurt. He had these stupid tights on.
Fight shorts, yeah.
yeah. He's fighting with his quad or something messed up or something like that, and he had these stupid tights on. Everybody knew he was fighting hurt, even at that time. Before the internet really was a big thing, I think everybody knew Triple H was supposed to lose that. And somehow, for some reason, they had him pin Goldberg, and then I think Goldberg won it the next month, and it didn't mean shit.
Yeah. One of the greatest quotes from JR was when he said when Goldberg came in, he should have been booked like John Wayne and was booked like Nathan Lane. Anyway, also one of the only times Brock Lesnar tapped out, losing to Kurt Angle for the WWE title. Also a match to definitely go back and check. 2004, who became the youngest ever world champion at the event? The youngest ever world heavyweight champion, and he beat Gina. I'm going to give you a hint. Hopefully this helps. He beat a wrestler we cannot talk about anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I know that one. Randy Orton.
There you go.
Yeah, Randy Orton
Because
beat
that was
him.
against Chris
Dave.
Benoit. That was CB.
No, hang on.
No,
I didn't
he's
say
who?
it.
Let me make
I
up for
didn't
it.
say
Joe
it.
Hendry. Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry. It was against Joe Hendry.
His name and he
Redacted.
appears.
Redacted.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Shit. Well, at least I got the
I
point.
believe in Joe Hendry.
Okay, we're all right now. It's fine. You got the point. We'll move on. 2005 was the infamous. Was infamous for Shawn Michaels overselling against Hogan, and I think you guys will be impressed. That's the first time I've mentioned him as well. But the question is,
Good job.
and Monty, this is a hard question. Which wrestler faced Triple H at SummerSlam 2004 and Kurt Angle in 2005? And the answer will blow your fucking minds if you don't know.
Triple H.
I mean, look at the guy. Yeah. Triple H and Kurt Angle. Two of the best.
So it's Kurt the year before?
The year after.
Oh, the year after.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was Triple H doing when Randy won the belt? That's a good point.
I mean, Gina, guess the wrestler. Any wrestler, Gina. Just guess the wrestler. I don't know if Monty's going to get it.
John Cena.
It wasn't John Cena, but
yeah,
there'll be
no,
questions
he
with
wouldn't.
him
James wouldn't be
coming
talking
up.
about him like that if it was.
Okay, Monty, I'm going
You
to
just
try and
said
give a
any
clue.
wrestler.
You
I
know,
think
any
I
wrestler,
know,
yeah,
but I just don't. I don't want to guess, but I think I know, but I just don't. I don't know if I want to say it.
Was he associated with maybe William Regal or?
Oh
Eric
yeah, it's
Bischoff?
definitely who I'm thinking. it is.
Yeah, go on then.
But I don't remember the Kurt one. Though. I remember Triple H, but I don't remember. Anyway, it's Eugene, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Tajiri.
Oh man, these were dark days, man. I grew up. I was like 9 years old, and man, the Eugene stuff. I don't remember the Kurt one. I think I just kind of traumatically blocked that out. Yeah, but I definitely remember the stuff with Triple H. So yeah. Oh man, that was the mid 2000s, man.
I apologise for bringing back bad memories. Right, Gina, this is for you, and just say exactly what you said a minute ago. Who main evented SummerSlam 2006 and 2007 versus Edge and Randy Orton, respectively?
Yeah.
Tajiri. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. John Cena.
You got me. Well done.
Would have been a classic.
Yeah.
I love Tajiri. That would have been a classic, by the way.
He was one of my favorites. I'm not going to lie. When I was a kid, I was super excited to always see Tajiri come out. I just loved him.
Yeah, man.
But no, my answer is John Cena.
It is, and it is correct. So the Edge, the Undertaker, and Edge faced off in Hell in a Cell match in 2008. 2009 was one of my favourites, as Jeff Hardy and CM Punk feuded throughout the summer. But what happened after their TLC match that year? And this is, again, a tough one. I will say, I'll give you a clue, everybody. Someone returned. But who?
It happened at SummerSlam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A return. I pass. I can't even think of nobody right now.
Any wrestlers, Gina, like any maybe undead wrestlers? I'm not giving you any clues or anything. Like
The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah. How did you get that? Wow.
It was a hunch.
Yeah. 2010.
He returned a lot of times.
He did. I apologise. But again, it was one of my favourite ones because Punk was standing over Jeff Hardy. The lights went out, and then it was the Undertaker in that position. But again, Punk probably doesn't want to talk about what happened for his world title. But 2010 was the year of the Nexus. Good times. Question is, what did John Cena do at the event to piss everyone off and kill the Nexus's aura?
Oh man, it was an elimination match, right? And he just he everybody on his team, like guys like Jericho, Edge, I believe, they all got eliminated. But Cena survived and literally beat I don't know if it was 3 or 4 members. I know pretty much everybody. Beat them all by himself.
Well, I will give you a point because that is pretty close. Basically, it came down to him versus Gabriel and Wade, if anybody knows Gabriel Kidd. Got a DDT on the floor.
Oh, yeah, the way he did it. You're right. Yeah.
DDT on the concrete floor and then managed to kind of hulk back up again and get the win.
Yeah.
Nexus was done. That's why Wade Barrett is doing kickoff
Was he
shows.
not supposed to? Or
The Nexus came in
as
imagine if the Shield or the White Six came in as strong as that and then lost basically in their first match.
Right.
right,
So their first match.
Yeah.
And then it's to somebody that like Roman who don't need it or something like that. Like it's somebody like Roman who don't need it, who can lose that night and still win the storyline, and people would have been fine. But you could have made Wade Barrett, or at least if not just Wade, you could have made multiple stars, just from that one moment. So yeah, it was horrible.
And it was Justin Gabriel, not Gabriel Kidd. I obviously know that people.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
2011 edition featured a cracking world title match between Randy Orton and Christian. Seriously, go and watch that.
Mm-hmm.
The main event was John Cena versus CM Punk. But who successfully cashed in afterwards? This is 2011.
Oh. Can we say his name?
I think
he's not been wild either yet. He's not been wild yet. No. This is Del Rio, right?
It is Del Rio.
He ruined the summer of Punk.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Punk fans know that. Yeah, he ruined that. Not to his fault of his own, or any fault of his, but in hindsight, you probably like, what the hell were they thinking? But I guess at the time, you thought maybe they were trying to build a new star, but we know how the old man works.
Yeah, no, it did. I mean, Del Rio is one of the few guys to win Money in the Bank, the Royal Rumble, multiple world titles, and people just don't give a fuck about him. And
don't care.
Because he's just not a nice guy.
Not good.
Speaking of maybe not nice guys, Brock Lesnar, we'll never say it to his face, obviously, but from 2012 to 2016, Brock Lesnar had single matches at these events. Now, can you guys name his opponents? This is tough, but again, 2012, Brock Lesnar's first SummerSlam back, who did he face?
John Cena.
Gina, any guess?
I don't know, Triple H?
It was Triple H. You are right, Gina.
You're right.
Wild guess. Love it. I love it.
I thought it was Triple H the next year.
Well, 2013 then, the following year, who did Brock Lesnar face?
Who did Monty say before?
This was due to rivalry with Paul Heyman, if that helps.
Punk.
Oh, CM Punk?
Yeah, Punk. I'll give you both points for that. 2014, and it's already been said who he faced.
Cena?
The Undertaker?
John Cena's 2014. 2015, Gina, do you want to just say that same wrestler again?
The Undertaker?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah!
I don't know how you're doing this. Yeah. And finally, 2016, who did he face? And what I remember from this, cut hard way.
Randy.
Bleed,
okay.
I think, yeah.
I was just about to say. I knew Randy getting bludgeoned was 2016.
I wouldn't have guessed Randy. I actually don't remember that.
Wow, so I'm confused. Okay, I said Cena the first time because I'm confusing. I guess that was Backlash.
Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules. Yeah.
Okay.
This is why I haven't got a girlfriend.
Catapulted
This
himself.
is literally... Yeah. Really catapulted over the top.
Like Jackson, have a life.
Nope. Just watching SummerSlams. So anyway, 2016 was also Finn Balor's win and heartbreaking injury. And weirdly enough, the WNR's first SummerSlam was 2015, but it wasn't until 2017 do we get our first great SummerSlam main event. It was Brock Lesnar again, but this time in a fantastic fatal four-way. Who were the other three men?
Is that Joe Strowman?
Yeah.
And who's the last one? Was it Roman? No, it wasn't Roman. Was it? I don't know. Joe
No
Strowman.
idea.
It is Joe, Roman, and Braun. I'm going to give you that. Yeah.
All right,
That is
there we
the
go.
three men. Yeah. With the
Yeah.
again the chair being
Nice one,
thrown
Monty.
is what I remember.
I wanted Joe to win so bad, man. Yeah, and that's when he hit Braun for real, right? Or
Yes,
they had to kind
and then he got got it back, didn't he? He got it
yeah,
back.
he got it back. Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember
This
that.
is quite an easy one, I think, for you, Monty. 2018 was main evented by that year's WrestleMania main event. What was it?
Roman and Brock.
Yeah, Roman and Brock. 2019, and again, I thought Jaxie was going to be here, but what legend did Jaxie's favourite Charlotte Flair beat at this event? So who did Charlotte beat at the 2019 event? What legend?
Oscar! It was Oscar!
No, it wasn't Oscar. That was at Mania.
Oh.
It's a Canadian legend.
Trish.
Oh,
Yeah,
Tommy
Trish.
Rocky Road. Copyright.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. it was everyone's upset because we thought Trish would because she was hometown hero.
Yeah. 2020, and there's no excuses now because everybody was doing the podcast. All right. So Bray Wyatt beat Braun Strowman for the Universal title, but what happened after? And you'll never see it coming.
Wreck everyone and leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the beginning of the tribal chief.
That is when
He
Roman Reigns.
wasn't quite tribal chief quite yet, but he came in, destroyed the Fiend, and
Yeah, and the
let
incredible
everybody
thing
know he was back.
would win the Universal title a week later, and he's only lost it this WrestleMania just gone.
Yeah.
That's
Man,
actually
crazy.
so crazy when you think back to that and how long ago that was. That's so crazy.
It is, isn't
Yeah.
it? We're nearly up to date. 2021, Bobby Lashley was WWE champion, but who did he beat at this event? And we have mentioned them previously.
Brock Lesnar?
No, the other one.
The Undertaker?
Oh, no. A legend that no one's interested in now, especially Oscar.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Man, I try to forget a lot of stuff in wrestling. That's what this is showing me.
And honestly, I totally would have forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Well, also in 2021, who did Roman Reigns face? And I'll give you a massive clue.
Okay.
Go on.
All right, next year will be his last.
Okay, you can't
John
see it.
Cena.
There you go.
Both points there. 2022, Bianca Belair beat Becky Lynch to retain her title. But what happened after? This was Triple H's first
It's-
SummerSlam.
Damage control.
It is
Was it
damage
Damage
control.
Control?
It is
Yeah, the
damage
debut-
control,
the
I'm
yeah.
not gonna bother this one.
Debut. Yeah.
Damage Control showed up. And finally, last year's show, Bianca Belair beat Oscar and Charlotte. What happened next?
EO cashed in, right?
Yeah. EO did
Yeah.
cash in. You're right. What was the main event last year as well?
Brock Lesnar, Roman
Yeah.
Reigns, tractor.
No.
No, that
Go on,
wasn't
Gina.
last year.
No,
What was
that
last
wasn't
year?
last
Come
year.
on.
That's
That
a
was
good point.
it was Roman and Jay.
Yes,
That's
it
a good
was.
point. I see. Everything
Yeah,
I've forgotten was bad.
Roman got Roman got the approval from the old man chiefs.
No, yeah, good point. The match got on my nerve. I'm just making my point that everything I forget was bad. That's a good point. That match went on another MJF Osprey without the hour. Didn't even go an hour and it went too long. So yeah, no, I got you. Good point.
That is it. I mean,
the tractor was good memories, though, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. So what did everybody think? Monty, first off, what did you think of the history of SummerSlam and the quiz? Is it worthwhile doing for Survivor Series?
Yes, because at least that one started in 1990, so I got a chance to get some of those early questions. Yeah, man, no, this was cool.
It started in 87. Why are you making me be that guy? Don't make me be that guy.
No, I just want you to show off your decrepitness.
Monty, you're so evil.
Right, I just want you to do decrepitness. It started with 90 for me, because that's when Undertaker debuted, but we're going to move on. The point is, I do like it, though, because it showed, like, as you can see, I did a lot better as we got into the 2000s and on, because that's when I was aware of what was going on. And it also it's cool. Like I said, I've learned a lot about myself. Like, a lot of the stuff that I didn't, either I was too young or it sucked. And then some of it was so traumatic, I remembered it, but I didn't want to. Like Eugene. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. We talked about Eugene today. Anyway, this is great, though. Great. I think for all the big pay-per-views, it'd be nice to kind of figure out. And then it's nice to see how your brain works, because you chose a lot of, you didn't always choose the most memorable thing from these shows either. So that's cool. It's certain shows you brought up where I'm like, no, something else happened. He didn't even think about it. So maybe next time you do another SummerSlam, you can find that detail. So WWE has a great history for these type of things. So I think this is definitely something you can keep doing.
Without doubt, man. Gina, what were your thoughts? Did you better than you thought you were going to do as well?
Hell yeah.
Oh, 100%. I didn't think I was going to get any questions right at all. So the fact that I was able to guess, I am going to, say that a lot of them were wild guesses. And I was kind of trying to listen to what Monty was saying and then get in before he gave the answer. So I feel like I lucked into some of these, but I'm actually still quite proud at how much I remember when you say certain things that kind of trigger memories from each event. And I enjoyed doing it. I really do. I want to know how much more knowledge I've got on other shows.
Well, exactly. And again, Gina, when you think that you come in here and, again, when you first joined, you were saying that you maybe didn't know a lot, and you've ended up scoring 12 points on that quiz. So
my God. I'm so proud of myself.
That's not bad. I mean, I got 4, so it only means it was 4 questions you guys didn't know. And again, most of them was back in the dark ages. Monty, you won with 19, but I ain't giving you a fucking bonus point. So I'm just going to give you congratulations, all right?
Congrats, Monty.
It's not fair, but I've been dog walking y'all all year in the bonus league, so it's fine.
So how did we get to the 2024 edition? We're going to find out after we have our first mass debate. Now, Jaxie has let me down, so I have to masturbate by myself, which, again, is nothing new. So what we're going to do is I'll save mine for Jaxie, but I'll meet the winner of Monty and Gina in a little bit. That's fair, isn't it, guys? So it will be Monty versus Gina for this mass debate. I've got a couple of subjects that you can choose from, all right, which I think will be fair enough. So the two are either Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0, kind of which one's better, or Liv versus Rhea Ripley. So which one do you guys want to go for?
Monty, you choose.
Wow, I was gonna let you choose.
And then whatever you don't pick, that will be the one we argue about. All right.
Well, damn. Let's see. Are you more partial to the Bloodline, or are you more invested in the ladies' feud, Dana? Which one do you care about?
To be fair, I feel invested in both. But I think maybe I don't know how well I'm going to do in these debates. So if I'm going to do either, I think maybe I'd choose the ladies over the Bloodline.
Okay, let's do that then.
All right. So, what side are you going to pick, Gina? Are you going to be Team Liv or Team Rhea?
Do you know what? I'm going to go for the unobvious choice, and I'm going to be Team Liv.
All right, Team Liv. So that means Monty's Team Rhea. Anybody listening for the very first time? Welcome. But also with a mass debate, it's basically an argument between two people. Well, debate as we talk about it.
A debate,
but in the end,
a healthy debate.
A healthy debate, but the other one has to agree with the other one to make it end. All right? Otherwise, you'll be here for like 4.5 hours like me and Jaxie were one day. So basically, what we'll do, I mean, who wants to start? You know, Gina, do you want to start or do you want Monty? Who wants to serve?
I'm not really sure how to start this off.
If Monty wants to start, let's do this, Monty.
Yeah.
So, Monty, you will start your debate about how Rhea Ripley is better than Liv, and then after you finish, Gina, you will begin. Let Monty finish first, and then you can start, and vice versa. Don't jump in with each other until you've had your first major debates. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Monty, when are you ready? Begin, please. Rhea Ripley or Liv Morgan? Let's begin.
It's funny that we're even having this debate when I don't really think it's that debatable. I mean, to be honest, Rhea Ripley is the woman, and not just WWE, but in professional wrestling. She proved it in the ring the many times that she has folded up her opponents in many different directions, made them a pretzel, as they say online, after hitting the riptide. She does it the best in the ring, and she's coming to her own over the last few years outside of the ring, becoming mommy, who at this point, it doesn't really matter if she's fighting a babyface, doesn't matter if she's fighting a heel. The crowd is always on mommy's side because they know that mommy is always on top. You know, she is the standard bearer of the women's division, and she has shown that in the way that she has manipulated and made Liv Morgan try to act outside of herself. Liv Morgan has been through multiple identity crises just in the last since Rhea Ripley left her in the tag team. If you remember, when they were tagging, Liv was smiling, very happy, always on the shoulder of mommy. But then when mommy came to her senses, realized that she was dominant, came into her own, joined Judgment Day, and became the dominant champion that we know and love, she threw Liv to the side, and Liv has been trying to find herself at least for a year plus. So, in the grand scheme of things, I think you can tell when the boys and even the women are thirsting for her online, and you can tell when the crowd reacts every time that "This Is My Brutality" hit. At the end of the day, Liv, or most women in WWE, but really in professional wrestling in general right now, they just don't compare to mommy.
Okay. And close. So I'll come back with, you touched on some great points, and a lot of points I do agree with. But I will also say that some of the points that you touched on with Liv are some of her strengths too. The fact that she's gone through so many, identity crisis to come out to where she is now shows the growth that she's taken. And let's all be honest, when she was in her trios group, even though Ruby was the one who was seen as the main character, everyone just wanted to see Liv. Liv still had her own kind of like aura that drew people in. And she has done well to play on that. And the fact that she is now possibly, sowed some seeds into the biggest faction aside from the bloodline on Raw, which is the Judgment Day, who have been dominant for the past 3-4 years. The fact that she's kind of planted seeds to a potential breakdown of the whole group shows how clever she has embedded herself into sort of their group. And not only that, but she did say one day, she would be coming and being the woman on top. And she's done that. She's achieved that. She's proved that. So if you ask me, even though Rhea has got herself to elevated heights, that was expected of her, especially because you look at her and you see an instant champion. With Liv, she's not expected to be that big or be a champion. So the fact that she's proven everyone wrong and she's pushed herself on top, I think that just kind of shows how clever she is to get herself to where she has been, because it's not been in the same journey that Rhea has with her brute strength. She's had to use her mind to get herself where she is too.
Yeah, I mean, both make excellent points, and I will say, Gina, there, I think I might agree with you a little bit about, Rhea has been dominant, but Liv's the first one to kind of challenge that. And again, Monty, I don't know if you want to respond, but she has made the Judgment Day a lot more interesting, because they were kind of just treading water for a little bit there.
Well, they were treading water, but it didn't have anything to do with when Mommy was there. Mommy came back and they immediately felt important again. They immediately took over the show again. And yeah, you're right. Liv has done great for her with what she's been given, but that's the thing. She has to do what's best. She has to do what she can with what she's given. Rhea has taken everything. Rhea took the women's world title. She took over Judgment Day. She is the only woman that, from my memory, that I've ever seen basically have been in a faction and to where we have other men in it, but everybody knows who those men answer to. Rhea Ripley transcends everything that you guys have talked about so far. That Liv, just at the end of the day, no matter what she's done, no matter who she manipulates, she just can't. She does not have the reach that Mommy has. And at the end of the day, not many wrestlers in this day and age do. And also another thing, let's not forget the fact that, honestly, for a long time before Priest finally cashed in his money in the bank, there was only one true world champion in Judgment Day, and that was Rhea Ripley. And she earned that by not only being one of the best in the ring and on the microphone, she earned that because, like you said, everybody may have expected it, but it wasn't handed to her. She took it from Charlotte Flair. She dominated the women's division, and now she's been dominating our TV screens to the point to where it really doesn't matter whether she's doing something bad, doing something good. Mommy is the top woman in WWE.
Gina, any final argument against that?
I mean, I do agree with a lot, but I also still feel like Liv has accomplished like more in terms of being known as the underdog, because she's been the SmackDown's women's champion. She's been the WWE women's champion twice. She's won the tag team championship twice with Ruby Soho. She was a Money in the Banks winner. Again, I get it. I get that Rhea has come in and smashed her way and taken things. But again, Liv has been the underdog who's always not really been seen as the one to win it. And she has come out on top with quite a lot of championships and accomplishments behind her. So for her to kind of take it when she's more of the underdog shows that she's kind of had to jump over more walls than Rhea just smashing them down. Sometimes the answer to smashing walls down isn't as great as just jumping over them, because that uses wits as well. It shows how witty Liv is. So That's my argument back.
Despite all of those achievements, she's still the underdog in a match where she's the champion.
I would say, though, Liv's character work has been, if not as good, maybe better than Rhea Ripley's as well, to kind of play what she is at the moment. I felt sorry for her when Don was being a prick to her as well, so... But again, my issue is...
Yeah, I actually felt sorry
straight
for
up
her as well.
One-on-one match between Liv and Rhea, do you know what I mean? It's just... I'm surprised they've not done like an injury angle or something like that, but that's another thing. We'd talk about who would you pick between Liv and Rhea Ripley, So, you guys have got to agree with each other, so...
I mean, yeah, the thing is, I think this debate is also ultimately down to a little bit of the race between the hare and the turtle. But in a way, it's like, which one would you say is the hare and which one would you say is the turtle? Because with Rhea being, a bit bigger in terms of taller than Liv and being more musclier than Liv. She would be like the tortoise, whereas Liv would be the hare who is quick, you know? But
I mean,
then
I would
would she?
agree if this was Bianca we're talking about or someone, but we're talking about Liv, who, like you said, has all the potential in the world, but she is just now putting all the pieces together. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. That is the major difference to me. I feel like Rhea at this point is more of a finished product. I don't know if despite character changes or despite anything that you can do in storyline, I don't know what needs to change on a Rhea Ripley. But meanwhile, Liv Morgan is just now, despite all the accomplishments they've tried to shoot her in for, despite all of the work, the faction that she was in, everything that she's done up to this point, she's been trying to build blocks to get where she has been. Meanwhile, Rhea, who had her own turmoil to get through, but she is so dominant that everybody knew that honestly it had nothing to do with Rhea while she wasn't there. I think Liv Morgan is just now figuring out how to get where she is and how to become the woman in WWE, and she still has more ways to go. Meanwhile, Rhea, in my opinion, the only person that I think is even fair enough to compare her to seriously in WWE is Bianca Belair.
Shit, Gina.
Okay. I can't really argue against that because I agree with pretty much everything he said. So I think Monty got that one. Yeah. Do you know what? It's just because he's good with his words. That's all.
Yeah, and he's younger than us.
I do get that a lot.
The one thing I will point out in saying that I super agree with Monty is the fact that I do feel Liv will have like more growth and change, whereas I don't think Rhea needs that. I think Rhea's character is already kind of a finished product. So that's like one of the highlights that Monty said that I would say kind of got me to agree.
Yeah, without a doubt. So that means Monty goes through to the final, where he's going to face me in a little bit, where we're going to pick between Bloodline and Bloodline 2.0. But let's catch up with Raw and SmackDown then. Raw, July 15th. Sheamus has the most generic theme now. It is fucking awful. Pete Dunne didn't like it either and attacked his former master. Monty, you and I spoke last week as well about Dunne needing to show everyone that as well. Adam Pearce was being unreasonable. Instead of making the match official for SummerSlam, he demanded Drew say sorry to the officials. McIntyre made a great point about referees and officials putting their hands on him and trying to strain him while Punk been allowed to fucking run wild. The suspension remained intact. Seth got himself involved. Make me think Punk's not cleared. Next, we saw the latest from the White Six in the form of another VHS, this time featuring Eric Rowan. The big man expressed raw emotion as he discussed the loss of brothers Brody Lee and Bray Wyatt without naming them, and promised them the White Six would use their broken hearts to create beautiful art. Now, Gina, I know like White Six is a storyline, but I'm just so happy for Rowan. You know, I don't know how long it's going to last, but that guy deserves a fucking break, you know? And even in this video, it just shows what he's been through.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I didn't actually realize how much I missed Rowan up from our screens until you got to see him there, you know? And it's just, it was heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time to watch, you know? I absolutely loved seeing it, and I thought it was so great to show, and I think it taught a lot of people who don't really know Rowan or maybe are newer to becoming wrestling fans that didn't know him from like his past work in any wrestling promotion. I think it was a great package to like just show like how embedded into the wrestling world he is. So yeah, again, I just thought it was a great package and loved seeing him back on our screens.
Yeah, and a lot of focus is going to be about the White Six. And speaking of which, having deduced that Bo Dallas is in fact Uncle Howdy, Chad Gable took to the squared circle to call him out. Dallas obliged and immediately fell prey to a sneak attack by the Creed brothers, I told you all, who joined Gable in a 3-on-1 assault. Dallas laughed it off. Eventually, the arena darkened and the White Six made their way to the ring. The Hills bowed as the masked followers surrounded there, and the leader started laughing. I mean, the thing is, Monty, about this is I love Bray Wyatt. You know, I love the Wyatt family. But one of the things I'm going to enjoy, hopefully, about this run is that we're going to finally see Bo Dallas, because if there's one guy that you've spoken about before and said about his talent, and now we're finally going to see it and given a chance, it's just going to be great. You know, wrestling is crazy in that way.
Yeah, man, I agree. You know, that's the funny thing about it. Like, and me being the NXT expert is very ironic because that's when my love for kind of like Bo Dallas and who he originally was. Like a lot of people, I don't know if people really even realize that the version of the Bo Dallas that they saw at the beginning of his run when he was an inspirational speaker when Vince got a hold of him was only a fraction of how good he was at that character and just how good he was in general in NXT, you know, and he was it's one of my things. It's just one of those things that I kind of always kind of scoffed the fact that he just kind of became full comedy when he always had talent. And if going in the ring, he was always in the ring just as talented as his brother, if not more, in my opinion, in some ways. So it's really awesome to me that he's getting kind of you kind of can merge that what we love about Bray and like the storytelling, and you can kind of get a chance to see, like you said, some of that untapped and just raw potential that I think he's always had. Because I don't know if I'm one of the few, but me and a friend of mine, till this day, we just hit up each other talking about, I believe in you. And, you know, we still believe in each other because Bo it was so corny and just so well done. And if anybody had the time, they should go back and watch his NXT title run back in the day when he was on top as the inspirational speaker, Bo Dallas, because it's some of the just best sarcastic, you know, just. It's humorous, but it's so good when given time for people to actually pay attention to it. And I know people who still go back to him running over El Torito on the main roster and think about how funny that was. And I'm just like, he used to do stuff like that every week. His victory laps and all of that. Like, Bo was great, and I think like you said, he made the B team work. Like, he's made the Miz Taraj. Like, as a guy, he's always kind of shined in whatever little role he's been given. So it's really cool, in my opinion, to see him allowed to be creative and do something more serious, but also tell a story that's very true too. Because that's another thing when, like we talk about in wrestling all the time, when they kind of blur the lines between facts and just pro wrestling, some of those become the best stories in wrestling. And I think this, like you said, the way what they've done so far with everybody else's backstory and melding it together to make this new family, it has the potential to be really special.
Yeah. Speaking about the B team, weirdly enough, I saw them win the tag titles. So, you know what I mean? Hope's kind of gone on Curtis Axel. Rhea Ripley wants Liv at Summerslam. But, Gina, if we're talking about this, Jey Uso and Rhea needs to happen. At least a date, you know, just to see if it can work or not.
Definitely. I would so be down for that. It was hilarious just to see this interaction. So I would totally tune in to the Jay and Rhea show.
Yeah, of course. Intercontinental champion Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov were well on their way to potentially classic main event when Bron Breakker struck. I reckon Zayn kind of threw Ilya in a way, but hey, we saw Bron closing out the show for the first of many, many times it's going to happen. SmackDown, not a lot happened. Andrade beat Mello, and Stratton was upset by Michin in 2 fun matches. Another Bloodline beatdown. Raw, Gunther and Priest laid hands. And again, we spoke. Jaxie spoke about this actually with Gunther and Priest. And then we see Bron become non-contender for the IC title after referee stoppage. But Monty, we know they can't kill Ilya. You know, because even when they're going, he might be seriously injured, we go, no, we've seen him. Like, he's not dead yet.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love how he has such a good fan base that knows the potential that he has to where even if he loses, the way he loses, I think even the main roster or even they know the way they're presenting his losses that no, we're gonna put over his toughness because there's one thing I think anybody could piece together about Dragunov, even if they haven't watched him week to week or like you said, watch everything we've seen that man be able to put his body through. I think even through his feud with Braun, being the smaller guy, you know, every match when he's been given time, he's gotten that crowd on their feet and just behind him in his physicality. And we talk about it all the time with Dragunov. if it's one guy who I feel like I said, I told you, I think I put it in our chat about Gunther about believing he's not playing a character. Same thing with Dragunov. It's not just that he's not playing a character. I know he's very present in the moment. He brings intensity every week, and I think that's only going to get him more and more popular as they continue to build. And he loses nothing when he loses to a guy like Braun the way he has lost to him, because in my opinion, the thing they focused on trying to get us to understand is that Dragunov is a different breed.
Yeah, without a doubt. Other news, CM Punk is cleared to compete. He took to the ring to make the announcement before demanding Drew McIntyre make his way to the ring so they could fight. Scottish Warrior obviously came out because he's not scared of shit. He stood at the top of the ramp, taunted Punk, then watched the security officials held the babyface back. We see Adam Pearce appeared and announced that McIntyre's reinstatement, but with one revelation, and that was to be Seth Freaking Rollins to be the special guest referee. Gina, what are your thoughts on this? Because, man, I like Seth Rollins, but, like, does he really need to be involved? Like, what are your thoughts?
All right. It's not that I don't like Seth Rollins, but I'm kind of like, dude, can you not just wait your turn to have your arguments with either of these two? Because we know that this has been brewing between Drew and Punk for ages, and no offense to him, but like a lot of fans just want to see Drew versus Punk. So in a way, it's kind of like, can you just like, yeah, come back later? Because, yeah, it just feels a little bit like he's impeding on this feud that we kind of want to see between Punk and Drew.
Yeah, and
That's
again,
just my opinion.
I completely agree. And Monty, the fact is, if Seth is cleared, find him something to do. You know, don't clutter up and take the attention away, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it's not necessary. I get it from a perspective that we know that both of these guys don't like Punk, and we get it, the intrigue, but I think in this very first match, Punk's return and all of this storytelling we've been telling just with Drew and Punk, and then just to have that one moment where Punk interrupted that match, and now Seth has to be this majorly involved, I don't get it. And I'm with you. I'd rather he have like an open challenge and Dragunov come out and they just fight or something like that. Like, even if it's just random, like, you know what I mean? Just a random banger of a match for Seth, like just a SummerSlam open challenge, you know what I mean, would be better, in my opinion, than just throwing him into this. Because now that's another thing, too. It's kind of like we mentioned with AEW earlier. Now I got to think about the finish and being like, well, Seth is going to have some involvement because he's here for some. They got to create a reason for him to be here, right? So it's just like, it's one of the things where it's like, that ain't necessarily how I've seen or wanted this first time encounter of these two very, very heated rivals, because, like you said, look at how much story time since the Royal Rumble. That means pretty much since the first month of this year, we've been salivating for Drew and Punk, and they've been building it, and then now we lump in Seth, who, you know, yes, I know that Seth and Punk are going. We know that. I think everybody knew that after this or soon after this, Punk and Seth will be feuding. But I don't think, especially without a world title to give Seth an extra reason to be here, it's just even more like, okay, you guys just didn't have anything else for him to do, did it?
Yeah. Then again, it's McIntyre getting fucked over because Punk and Seth are going to move on, and then what for Drew, you know? But again, we'll talk more when I masturbate with Jaxie. Ever the opportunist, Chad Gable attempted to prey on Tozawa, Dupree, and Otis from the group's disappointing defeat, offering a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to join him and the Creed brothers. Otis denied, as did the others, leading to the beatdown by the Hills. And we saw the White Six again appear, and it was Uncle Howdy entering the ring and Julian Olympian with his sister Abigail for the show abruptly cut to the commercial. There's two things, Monty, I want to talk about. Otis being so fucking loved, and I don't know where it's... Again, it's a good talent, but like he has got that connection with the crowd. And second, the sister Abigail with Uncle Howdy or Bo, man, that brought tears to my eyes. Like, that's what wrestling can do.
Beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I agree. It's beautiful. And then I like it, but I hate it because the way they cut away from the Wyatts, every week I'm always salivating for a little bit more. And they keep, you know what I mean? They keep giving you a little bit, just a little bit. Then the next segment, I'm just like, oh no, like I want even more Wyatt stuff every week. And like I said, it's genius, but at the same time, as a fan watching, I'm just like, come on, man, like give me. I want to get even more. I'm very interested in where they're going. But you're 100% right, and that's the beautiful thing about Otis is he is over, and I think he can definitely be used as that. But like you're 100%, the problem with Otis is ceiling. Where do you see? But I honestly think guys like him and Jay Uso, they also do. They shouldn't be. I hate that sometimes in WWE you kind of get hurt by it. In my opinion, the fact that you're so popular and we want you, but then we don't want you at the top right now because we got stuff going on. We want this guy at the top. We want this guy, guy or this girl, sometimes. But the reaction tells you that Otis and Jay are probably the two of the most popular. They were in LA Knight right now as far as popularity. If you're going off reaction.
Yeah, and again, excellent point. Like LA Knight was someone that was so hot, what was it, year and a half, a year ago, and now you're thinking, strike while the iron's hot. But again, it happened with stuff like Rusev Day back in the day, so it's not just Triple H that does it. Like
no.
Daniel Bryan with the Yes Movement. I mean, that had to like a whole other story. So, but anyway, back to
we
Raw.
had to force him into that one.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Anyway, Dominic Mysterio was back in Rhea Ripley's good graces after an intense, anger-fueled rant directed at Liv Morgan. I mean, Dom's a lucky man. There's not doubt about that. When Rhea Ripley can give you a lick, and all that stuff that's happened, man, has he made it. But again, Gina, as we spoke about, it's a storytelling here where what Liv is saying is 100% true. Rhea injured her. She's come back. And her promise, she shouldn't really be the bad guy. And even after what Dom said to her, you feel a bit sorry for her, which again shows how well her character work is.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, again, Liv did say she was going to come back and take it back from Rhea and say that she was going to beat her, So she's kind of promising on what she's done. You can't really blame her because she told you she was going to do it. But again, I think Liv's acting is just amazing because I truly felt heartbroken for her when Dom shouted at her. I was heartbroken and upset. So yeah, it's definitely great character work, and it's definitely brought people more involved into the situation. It's like a soap opera, and everyone wants to know what's going to happen this week. What is Liv going to do to piss off the Judgment Day, or at least, Rhea and Damien of the Judgment Day? Yeah. It's great because she's just added like more of a storyline to the Judgment Day.
Well, even when she ruined Judgment Day's room on Raw, and you're going, people saying, she didn't cross out Balor's face, so maybe there's something going on there. You know what I mean? And again, it's an added layer to the story.
Exactly, especially because people remember seeing Liv, what was it, a few weeks ago or maybe a month or two ago, her coming, I think she was getting out of the car with Finn in the background or something like that. So again, these little Easter eggs that they kind of drop in are just brilliant. And again, is even like going back to the Wyatt family, the little Easter eggs dropping in. Obviously, we all know that Nikki Cross is the female that's sort of within the group. And remember all of the weeks leading up to her going off TV and then coming back as part of the Wyatt family, she was just walking around loopy, even in premium live events in the Royal Rumble. She was just loopy and not there. So it's kind of like all paying off, and you're getting these little Easter eggs. So it all works.
Well, even talking about
who did Fiend turn on? Who did Fiend turn on to join Judgment Day? Liv, AJ Styles. So again, you got even that storyline.
Well, like you said, it's all connected, even with the Wyatt Six stuff of seeing Bo having a meeting with Adam Pearce after destroying the backstage area, and kind of like you said, with Nikki Cross bringing these VHS tapes through the crowd, and now they've kind of been accepted. There's an agreement to kind of not hurt the people, only the ones that you think are responsible, which is kind of only a little thing you can pick up. But again, when there is these details, you start to really enjoy it. But WWE isn't all sunshine and lollipops. Sometimes a bit of news happens that you're a bit shocked about, and it did really. And this was Bobby Lashley, kind of gone from WWE. I don't know a guy who's probably held his higher esteem on the podcast maybe as this guy, but it's unbelievable news. Monty, what were your thoughts? Because again, MVP has been talking shit about Triple H. He's been let go
for a while now.
But again, this is
Yeah.
more about Bobby and the real kind of, the situation behind it.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't write off of MVP. People saying it's like hurt business, bitterness, or whatever, but it's something there because he's still every now and then saying something online about Triple H. So obviously, a trust or something was broken there for whatever reason, or something that Pete thought should be going on didn't happen. So we don't know all the details. Maybe at some point we're gonna get that shoot interview that's gonna set Twitter on fire one day or whatever. But even if we don't, the Bobby stuff is definitely shocking. The report, he may not be gone completely yet, but it's definitely a situation where they said he looked at the contract that WWE offered him, and it wasn't something that he was just jumping to sign. And when you think about Bob's last year, and I don't want to compare because I know some people's making great points that, if you want to just go off booking, then, what about all the stuff that Drew kind of went through and all that? But I do think at the end of the day, communication counts. And I think as much as I can complain about the booking of Drew, I doubt that being on, like, for example, as bad as Clash was as a fan of Drew, it still probably was a dream type of deal to be in the main event, to have, even if you're on the wrong end of course you want to come out and win, hometown type of deal and all that. But I'm saying it's a difference between that and then you have a faction with the Street Profits thinking it's going somewhere, and then week in and week out, you're not getting much of any improvement or any focus or any long-term deal. Like the way that we talked about that the first few together when they joined up with the Final Testament, and just how it just felt like week to week, it didn't seem like we had any idea what was actually going to be going on. And it didn't seem like they had much of an improvement, or matches get cut in half. And I know he had some injuries or situations too. So it's just a lot. So I can understand taking into account everything that he has been through basically since his world title run, and and all, I think an injury that he had in between there, and then when Triple H kind of really took over, and like how things have been going, it makes sense from that perspective. You're just going out booking, but it's still, like you said, James, very shocking because again, he's one of those guys that I think not only as in that faction, but just in general, I feel like Triple H and WWE in general only scratched the surface. Like he was a guy that I was always thinking since he was on SmackDown, if they probably don't want to, they can't turn him heel because the crowd didn't seem to want them heel. But like I do want eventually a Cody match or eventually involvement with the World Heavyweight title. Like it was still so much potential there for Bobby, and it makes you wonder. It's just kind of like the Dijak stuff. I don't know if we ever kind of full-fledged talked about what happened with Dijak and just how he was kind of told, certain things, and just how as fans we saw Dijak as somebody who could only add to the product, but apparently management don't view them that way or view those guys as a priority at the moment. And I think the same thing could be said for maybe whatever Bobby got from that contract. Maybe the money didn't make Bobby feel like he was a priority, or maybe the fact that it was money, but it was no creative behind it. It's just, we're going to offer you this money, we want to close you up, but we don't have anything for you right now creatively that made Bobby decide that. We don't know the details of it, but that's what my mind went. It's still shocking. I'm sad to see him go. But Bob is going to land on his feet, whether he's in an AEW or he go back to Impact or whatever he decides to do. Bob is going to be all right. I don't think it's over for a guy like Bob. It's rumors that they're going to try to blood sport it out with the Hurt Business in the future, with maybe bringing Shelton and Bobby and P together in blood sport. There you go. That's something already. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will. Because there's a thing about Bobby, and again, there's been a few stories about. Just because, with Triple H having a problem, with either black wrestlers or, either people of colour and stuff like that. And for me, again, I see it as Bobby Lashley, for me, is on the level of a Drew McIntyre, or maybe just below at this moment. But again, it's a guy who can hold the world title. And again, this is even at the Chamber, when you think there's a story of, Lashley can say to Drew, like, you never beaten me or whatever it is, in a big match, but they've never kind of did that. They kind of, even with the kind of, W title run as well, with the whole kind of Brock involvement. But, I mean, Gina, again, it's a case of, again, this is a guy that could be main eventer, but maybe Triple H just doesn't see him, either due to age or whether it is, as kind of like, that worthwhile. But I don't think it's anything else, but again, it's a shame.
It's a massive shame, for sure. I loved Bobby Lashley. He was one of my favorite wrestlers in WWE. Whether he was being shown or not, I always loved seeing him come out. So to hear that this is happening is really, really sad to me. But like you guys said, I don't think it's like the end for Bobby if he does fully leave. I do think that he's got hot career aspects elsewhere, so I won't be sad on that front, because I know that he's going to be easily snatched up. But I do feel that WWE fumbled themselves with Bobby. I think he's such a great wrestler and a great person to have on your roster, and there was so much more that they probably could have done with him. I don't know whether it's, a personality thing. I don't necessarily want to throw the race card out there, but, at the end of the day, a lot of different views can come from this situation. And for me, I'd just rather Bobby come out the positive side of it, so if he's going to be sort of let go, I'd rather they handle it in a more positive light than slam him, so it's sad, but I also look forward to see what's coming next.
Yeah, without doubt. And I'll tell you what as well, Jinder Mahal, or whatever he's going by now, handled his release in kind of best way. He was on Twitter and getting asked questions about, you got any problems with Triple H or anything like that? And he went, no. And he kind of gave me an opportunity. I made a lot of money, a lot of friends, and I've got an opportunity now to kind of do something. And if Matt Cardona or, Mustafa Ali has showed that you can make money on the independent scene, and Bobby Lashley, as Monty, you said, and Gina, you as well, like, I mean, fuck me, if he was talking to AEW, then, he's in that tier already. So,
right. And Shelton also said a similar thing of just like, he was hurt by it, but if it's one thing he knows, it's a business. At the end of the day, these things happen. So, it sucks. I think as fans, and I think that's why you get a lot of the conspiracies, because fans wanted to work, and it doesn't make sense without context on why certain things don't work out. But like you said, sometimes it's just simple as that. It just didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, WWE in Japan, Monty, you can help me with this one, because obviously I know WWE do events around the world, but I'm not sure how often they come to Japan. And of course, we were sharing pictures with each other as well, and a little bit of video. I want to talk about the fans, and also there's a very special match with Bayley was involved in as well.
Yeah, this is the first time in 5 years. I know they would travel and do certain shows, WWE in Japan. I know many years ago, but I think the pandemic kind of stopped, especially from the Japanese part. Japan was everybody should remember. They were tough on the borders, but it was other reasons too why they weren't really touring in Japan at the time. So it was kind of cool to see. Just because WWE is popular as they are, they're not. That's one place where they're not number one at in the world when it comes to just draw and just how many people get a chance to see. But to see those fans, to see the people that do really love what WWE is doing, like you said, to see those photos and see it look like all those people, the cosplayers or whatever you want to call them, were having a hell of a good time. And man, it's just like you said, everything we got to see on social media made those shows look really, really fun, and they were sold out. So that's really good because, again, like I say, WWE is not really the number one market. They tend to prefer their Japanese promotions. So I think it says a lot for them to be sold out. It says a lot for the state of business. Like Triple H love to talk about how great everything is. I think this is one of those monikers that really show you that, business is really good right now.
Yeah, without doubt. And like I said, they did bring out the big hits like Miko Satomura and, Oscar was there as well.
Oscar.
Nakamura. AJ and Cody did the Too Sweet. And, even though they don't get on, I'm not sure, but maybe in Japan they're fine.
In Japan they're good.
Yeah. But even like you said, seeing the fans dress up and that is so much fun as well. And that's why it's world wrestling entertainment, because it is around the world.
And
Anyway,
Mako and
SmackDown.
Bailey, man, spoil.
Yes.
That's a
Oh,
spoil
fuck
type
me.
of thing. And Bailey introduced, maybe trying to do that at the PLE, hopefully before because Mako. By the way, I didn't mention this, but she's her 30th anniversary, which will be next year. She's gonna be retiring. She's gonna be finally hanging it up after a historic, great career. A lot of people are not sure if she's just hanging it up in Japan or in general, but I think after the press conference, it seems like she's pretty much gonna be done after next year. So anybody who have more dream matches or opportunities they want with the final boss should probably try to get them in before her anniversary next year. So, but yeah, her and Bailey had a great match, and I hope they get to do more. Hopefully in WWE before she's done.
Yeah, yeah, Gina, just in case, Miko is the final boss, the real final boss. You know, that's where The Rock nicked it from. They're one of the greatest NXT UK women's champions of all time as well. So we'll move on then. SmackDown, July 26th. LA Knight beat Santos. Logan Paul and Escobar beat down the megastar afterwards. Tag team number one contendership gauntlet match. Cruz and Corbin defeated Garza and Carrillo. I can't believe I just said that. Profits defeated Cruz and Corbin. Profits defeated Pretty Deadly. No boy. And then they defeated Gallows and Anderson as well, but couldn't beat Fatu and Tonga, who became number one contenders. But Gina, it still shows, we just mentioned Bobby Lashley with the Street Profits, how good the Profits are and how little they have been used these past couple of years.
Definitely. I mean, I wasn't surprised to see them be so dominant in this gauntlet match, but I also was happy to see them so dominant because they are a great team and they've done nothing but continue to improve themselves. So it does kind of make you realize, yeah, why have they been kept off or not been utilized as much? And I think this gauntlet match has kind of reignited and shown everyone why they should be showcased.
Yeah. And Pretty Deadly, let's be fair. You know, even though, come on, everybody, we all want Pretty Deadly the musical. It's like they're talking to me personally, all right? I want to see the full 3.5 hour uncut edition. Also, Bailey and Meechin lost to Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. Raw, July 29th, Seth Rollins delivered his referee instructions to Punk and McIntyre. Both men must listen to everything he says. Again, the hottest fucking feud of the year, and it just seems like they've cooled down a little bit, you know? And again, I don't know if that's just me as a massive Drew McIntyre fan or not, you know, but again, we need some action now. I think that's be fair to say. Of course, this is going to be Punk's first singles match in 10.5 years in WWE. Punk did refer to Rollins as a bootlicking office boy, and Scott said, I'm going to get paid so much money to do something I would do for free. Chad Gable won the battle as his new proteges. Julius and Brutus Creed defeated Otis and Cesaro in tag team match. Maxine Dupree entered the ring and slapped Gable. And then the Fireflies started illuminating the arena. And the White Six entered with their masks off, with Nikki Cross wiping out Gable with crossbody, and Uncle Howdy chased him off to end the segment. So, Monty, looks like maybe the answer is to kind of show everybody what they look like, you know, and kind of go from that angle as opposed to just like this, you know what I mean, unbeatable being, so to speak.
Yeah, I think again, a lot of people thought, especially with after their debut and how they just were very monsterfied, or it seemed like they were monsters because it was very horror-like in the way that they kind of showed up and destroyed everybody backstage. But I think since then, Triple H has slowly but surely every week went back to what he said it was going to be, more based in reality. Like you said, we all know who these guys are. You know, yes, Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. Yes, if you're into the Bray Wyatt lore, you got the Buzzard, you got the Huskies, you got all that. But these guys are who they are. Like you said, everyone knows that's Nikki Cross. Everyone knows that this is Dexter Lumis. Look completely different, by the way. Love the read. Yeah. Like, oh my God, he's completely like, that's not sexy Dexy as they call him in NXT. That is not him.
I had no idea. I had no idea. I had to ask you guys. I messaged you guys to say who's the blonde one, and it's not until you guys sent me the picture side by side that I saw it was Dexter. It's shocking.
Yeah, and I love the commitment because he's changed, like you said, could change his description completely. And it made me chuckle because I thought back to what Indy said, James, about divorce, we're getting a divorce like that. That ain't my man because like now I really get it because that's nothing like who you fell for. But again, I just think it's great that we kind of, like you said, they're not hiding behind anything really supernatural. We know that that's Ron. We know that that's Husky. People may not know much about Gacy if they didn't watch NXT, but I feel like Gacy is probably still going to continue to be himself, which was kind of he was kind of losing his mind anyway. You know, he never really was ever there. So I'm really excited for him to kind of show, more of himself in this new character too. So yeah, man, I think that's like what I like the most about it is that they're going to show up. They're going to have in ring type of scenarios. No one is as much as I love the Fiend. The Fiend was very indestructible. Like they're just crazy people, but they're not so far out, so far gone to where it's like we're in another universe. And I think that's what I like. Like I said, I love that they're just like the forgotten souls of WWE right now. And I think that's something that you can play off of, but at the same time, they still can remain beatable.
But are you surprised that their match is not a Summerslam? Because they've obviously announced, 6-man tag for Raw, which is going to be like, 6 debut.
I am surprised.
Yeah,
I am surprised because I think it'll be a great opportunity to do a squash. If not the 6-man, like just do even if it's not a squash match, do Gable and Bo, and then really show that this is gonna Bo is. I mean, Uncle Holly is this, but he can go out here and he can go out here with the best wrestler, one of the best wrestlers on our roster. I think it would have been a great opportunity to kind of really give people something to be excited about. In regards to them, whether it was an exciting 6-man like you mentioned, or just letting Gable and Uncle Howdy fight. But again, just like everything in this storyline, I guess we're gonna have to be patient.
We see Women's World Champion Liv Morgan cut a pre-tape promo over Barrel Fire, in which she did different memorabilia from the time with Dominic Mysterio. Then we see Stark.
I love crazy chicks, but this scared me, by the way.
That's I like Deluded. I still follow Nina Samuels and stuff like that. So, I'm into that.
That's my type. But when you start over the flame shots and it's at night and you're burning my stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, red flag.
I mean,
red flag.
I love how that's you guys' reaction to it. But for me, I was like, this is familiar. When a girl goes through a breakup, like being a teenager, you go through a breakup and you've got your ex's hoodie or something like that. I definitely am one to say that I've gone into the back garden, got a trash can that I can burn, put the hoodie in, but I've also had the girls over and they've thrown their ex's hoodies in there. We've all had some drinks, some tequila shots, and maybe we prank called them a couple of times. But,
okay, Gina, let's talk about damage control. Let's talk about damage control in more ways than one.
No, this was relatable.
Yeah. Damage Control did return after Stark, Bates and DeVille beat Chance, Carter and Lyra. What do we think about this then, Gina? Because obviously they're trying to build Bates, DeVille and Stark, a new group, but Damage Control were kind of Triple H's kind of one of his first real groups, isn't it? In a weird way, because he loves teams now, doesn't he? But
yeah, he does. I am a little confused because I was like, wait, because don't get me wrong, I am loving the team up of Sonya, Zoe, and Shayna. I actually love those three together, and I think they've got good chemistry. So that is a good pairing, and I'm enjoying it. But I'm also confused because obviously Damage Control then turn up, but in my eyes, Damage Control are heel, but then so is Sonya, Shayna, and Zoe. So wait, whose side are we meant to be on here? Because as far as like I'm aware, we still remember that Damage Control kicked Bailey out, so now what? We're backing them, or or are we part of Team Forehead, as Selena said, and we're going with Sonya, Zoe, and Shayna. So that part did confuse me a bit because I didn't know whether this is meant to be like a face turn for Damage Control or not. But again, Triple H really favors his groups, and especially with Damage Control. I think I can see him wanting them to be back on top, but it is a shame when you're kind of overshadowing some of the others. I mean, I feel like the tag champions I can't remember their names. You'll say their names soon
Oh,
enough.
is that how bad it is? That's...
I just feel like, exactly, though. They've not really... That tag team has not really been showcased as well as what they could be. But Damage Control, who have been here for a couple of years now, they're still back on top. And not that they shouldn't be, but it's just like we forget about the other teams who actually hold belts.
Yeah, but I think it's that time of year, you know. It's that time of year. AEW have a backstage incident, and Triple H is like, "Where's Damage Control? I've got to have him on screen somewhere.
I've got to have him back." Yeah.
Yeah, where are they? Gets panicked. And in the main event, Gunther beat the shit out of Balor and sent him to sleep. After the match, he reapplied hold. Priest hit the ring. Two superstars brawled to close out the show. And as Jaxie was saying, like, Priest and Gunther have really turned up this past couple of weeks. Monty, I'll ask you about that. But also, you know, I talk about Pete Dunne, but Finn Balor's another guy that it's only when he's in these types of matches that you kind of realise how good he is and why Triple H is a real big fan as well, you know?
I think Gunther said it in his promo, too, right before. Like, I think that's part of it. And I love Gunther kind of playing off what we all kind of been thinking anyway. That's, again, we don't know what's going to happen tonight, but Finn has kind of lost a part of himself, kind of babysitting JD and Judgment, babysitting babysitting Dom in a sense for a while. And now he's basically just back there with Carlito telling jokes. Like, you know, he said, Finn, you were one of the best in the world. You know, you coming out of Japan, I looked up to guys like you, and then you become street trash, which again, I'm with you guys. Like, back to what Gunther and Priest have been telling, like, Gunther has not only, I don't really care because I see the similarities of the Booker T Triple H angle that people are trying to say that this feels like, and I get it. It definitely has some similarities there when it comes to, like, class and all that. And we talk about Shawn Michaels kind of rehashing some of his greatest hits, but it's just kind of bad that Triple H want to rehash a storyline that I would love to forget.
He's like, which one can I... What storyline was really popular? Like, that's it. Base it on race and class.
Right, like,
that's what everybody wants.
Right, Shawn Michaels is pulling up finishes from Fatal 4-Ways that we forgot about, or Triple Threat matches that we forgot about, but remember is awesome. And Triple H is thinking of the worst possible moment for most. It was a great moment for him, I guess. Great.
I tell you what Gunther could do. If Gunther went into a funeral home and started...
Oh, my God. Oh, just leave it there. Just leave it there. But that's going to happen at some point, right? Somebody's going to go into a funeral home. Someone's going to get dropped their vehicle dropped on the top of it, the top of it. You know, in the parking lot, someone's going to get their car flipped over, like, or someone's going to get ran down like Austin. Who knows? All of those moments. By the way, Triple H has some very bad moments now that I think about it. If you just think about his career.
Snake.
Yeah. He has some tough ones. But anyway, but besides that, like you said, they really ramped it up and really make you invested, because it's one thing I really love about it is all of us coming into it probably thought Gunther going away. But with the stuff he said and the stuff he's done and the way that they painted Priest now as an underdog and like what everything he's overcome. No, in my opinion, how do you want to root for a guy like Gunther with the stuff that he just started to say? Like, how can you want to do that? And I think that's kind of awesome when you think about how Priest's been a tweener for so long.
There's nothing more us Brits like than, you know, Europeans looking down on us. You know, that's one of these things.
Right. Everybody loves it, right? Just someone
brilliant.
who's had it, everything handed to him and all that. Oh, yeah, just awesome. But,
great.
Yeah, man, no, I agree. I think they really stepped it up, and I love that element of it. And but you're 100% right, man. It's really, really interesting, in my opinion, where Finn goes, depending on how things shake out tonight, too. Because I'm with you. Finn is always on the top of Triple H's mind as one of his favorites. But, like, I know we keep saying he was the first Universal Champion, but it was a reason for that. Like, Finn is top tier when he wants to be. And I would like for us to get back into some of that going forward.
And also, just want to say, Carlito has been fantastic as a member of Judgment Day.
You talking about Liv getting Judgment Day through Carlito.
Yeah. Even a bit with his PlayStation. and giving
He
it
was
to
so mad.
PlayStation. He's like, what the fuck do you want me
The
to do?
thing is, I can relate to Carlito with the PlayStation, so I'm just always forever backing him. Like, yes, Carlito, you focus on the PS5.
And the first thing he thought about when they told him he had to wrestle is, I guess I gotta get my baby on. Like, Carlito, man.
No, that's cool. So the SummerSlam kickoff happened yesterday. Michael Cole hosted in Cleveland with Pat McAfee as a co-host. And again, with Pat, I don't know if I find him entertaining or annoying or somewhere in between now. I don't know if he's playing himself as a character or that's just him and he is quite annoying. But anyway.
Unfortunately, he has a radio show or a TV type of deal too show, and that's just him all the time. Man.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. It just grinds you after a little while. But he said, Pat McAfee did make me laugh. Introducing The Miz, he said this guy has lost over 1,000 times in WWE, which again is such a great introduction. Miz is, of course, hosting SummerSlam, because why wouldn't you? And they have a Miz Express as well, a bus going around. You see, what is old is now new. Miz did say, like, with every loss, he puts people over. Well done, Mike. Triple H next, and he got holy shit for spitting water with Pat McAfee and Michael Cole joining in too. And again, we talk about the changes. Michael Cole would never been allowed to spit back in the day, probably always swallowed. Liv joined. I mean, Monty, you saw the kickoff, did you? Or did you see Liv, didn't you? I mean, Gina, you saw it, didn't you? I get, yeah, I'm allowed. We're allowed. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus fucking
Not
Christ.
right.
Like, my God.
Oh my.
Like, damn.
Repeat.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Oh, my God. Damn.
Okay, good.
Oh,
Don't judge us, but good. Woo.
Yeah.
Zero judgment, guys. You've heard me thirst over Ricky Starks for I don't know how
There you
long.
go. Think about Ricky right now. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Imagine Ricky and Roman all up right now. And yeah.
Stop.
Jesus.
Stop.
There you go. You do that and we'll be where we were.
Anyway, she wasn't hanging around for Rhea Ripley. And then Pat McAfee was asked about Gunther and called him an arsehole. And Gunther then came out and Pat fucking shit himself. The look at Pat, I was scared for him, you know? And like
correct reaction.
he hid behind Michael Cole. That's how scared he was. Like Cole was going to do anything. Anyway, like I said, Gunther didn't have anything nice to say. And then Michael Cole, he got called one of the greatest ever, introduced Rhea Ripley as the women's champion, which again got me fucking panicked because he did that at WrestleMania 15 when he said afterwards you can join with a new WWF champion. I'm going, does he know? Does that happen?
No way.
Why would he? Yeah. But Priest, as we spoke about, giving off daddy cool vibes. Like, you know.
Oh, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Not a bland babyface, just like he's turned into a cool motherfucker now. And cool in wrestling is so good. Rhea has told Dom to stay away, and Rhea didn't have any makeup on, or very little, and looks stunning as well. I will say
incredible.
Like, oh my word! Like,
she's
and again,
naturally
her outfit on Raw as well. Like, like,
oh
Dom,
yeah.
like that. We didn't speak about Liv Morgan's jeans or the jean cut the other. I mean,
with the spin. Oh,
we are getting spoiled. We are getting spoiled.
It's not fair. Oh, Jesus.
And Dom's in the middle of it. There was yeeting for Jay.
What a lucky man.
Jesus. Anyway, the promo video for Punk and Drew was incredible, and we haven't even had a match yet. That's what I was thinking. Like I said, I'm still not a huge fan of Seth as a referee or Punk in a suit, because it's almost like he's going back on what he said a decade ago. And I've put Punk full of shit here as well. Like, yeah, he's full of shit. Like, that man, like, I love Punk, but I know he's full of shit.
What
like,
a hypocrite.
Jesus Christ.
What a hypocrite, man. I love him, but man, what a hypocrite. He was so anti-corporate.
He really
took
was.
the piercings out.
I'll never do it.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, Drew says he's so hot and so cool at the same time, and he is. You know, my God. He said it should have been the main event, and the fans agreed, and Drew owned both. He's laser-focused, and it will be a bloody massacre. And then we've got SmackDown August 2nd, with SmackDown Open with Sakura and Rose each coming to the ring alone. We want Roman chance, of course. I mean, Cody just started effing and jeffing, really, which, again, I don't know why the fans cheer swear words. Maybe because we're all kids at heart, so when we hear an adult say, like, a dirty word, we're just like, he said arsehole or son of a bitch or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What we do know is going to be bloodline rules. So, Gina, that makes predictions even more difficult because we're going to do predictions in a minute. But making it bloodline is like anything can happen now. Anything.
Definitely. I mean, I'm going into these predictions 50-50, which is what the matches are, 50-50, you know, because
yeah,
it's just really
every single one is 50.
Yeah. No, honestly, there's such good arguments for every match on why both should win, you know, so it's just super difficult with this one.
Oh, God. Well, Andrade defeated Melo in a great match on SmackDown. Logan Paul, again, I'm trying to not mention him because, again, he did make some comments but realised he was wrong about them. And, again, just like at the moment, let's get the US title off you and then you can have a little break.
Please.
LA Knight did his best Stone Cold impersonation by, you know, putting graffiti on a poster and then nicking a car. Surprised he didn't destroy it with a monster truck, you know. But again, don't mind that. Up next was the women's tag title.
Can I just comment?
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, can I just comment on, you know, when Logan Paul dropped the big poster and you had LA Knight's graffiti on it? Could they not have just gotten a can of spray and just typed "yeah" on it? Did they have to make it actually look like it was printed? Like the "yeah" just looked printed on it, like they've made this massive poster and, you know, used Adobe to add in the "yeah" and then set a massive one to print. Could they not have made it like printed the picture and then just done a quick spray paint "yeah" over it, like he's actually damaged it himself?
I think you've been hanging around with me too much. I think that is saying that you did not say 3.5 years ago. I'm not going to lie. That
is definitely a James detail. It's true, though. It's 100% true. I noticed it, too, but it's a James detail.
It's just like, I don't see LA Knight in the print office, you know, printing this big, massive poster. It would have just made more sense to make it actually seem like LA Knight did it by using a spray paint can.
You are bang on. You are bang on that, and I am proud. Up next, women's tag titles with Belair and Cargill looking to regain the belts from Fire and Dawn. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And I didn't realise Dawn had a little list. It's only, I mean, with a backstab. I mean, I don't know if the outfits are getting kind of more risque or I'm just noticing it more. But my God, the Isla Dawn, there's two things I like about it. Anyway, let's not go there.
Always a beautiful woman, by the way. I always thought she was beautiful, but you're like, I don't know what the hell is going on.
Fire's does something with her hair as well. Like, again, I'm just like, whoa, Katie Ray.
Is it just the summer? Are we in heat? What is going on?
I don't know what's going on. But
I will definitely agree with you guys, by the way. I will admit that the outfits as 2024 has happened has seemed to be a lot more risque, you know? But I'm not mad at it either. I agree with you. I literally think both of those ladies look hot.
But I'm trying to watch it for the wrestling, and then you bring out Belair and Cargill, and again, I'm just looking at Jade, and I'm just like, God damn.
The bang, the hairstyle.
Do you know what I mean?
Just, my God, Jade is literally like I'm dribbling at her.
Break me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Just snap me enough.
I'll pay you, Jade.
What are we talking about? Right, anyway.
We will all pay her. Yes. I'll put in. We'll all chip in.
It's weird. God. With Jackson not here, this is what it turns into. This is what it's just going, damn, like, God damn.
Oh, God.
And she's just going to have a water bottle to hand to spray us all, like, damn, all of you.
We need help.
God damn. Anyway, tag titles. I'm sweating. We get Blair Davenport showing up, attacking Cargill, causing a disqualification, but of course, Triple H's favourite thing, creating a trio, or at least a
Of course.
purpose. Monty, we've talked about Blair, and again, she was a bit too. We knew this was going to happen at some point. Come on.
Yeah, she was kind of floating. I wonder if Triple H thinks she's Scottish. I wonder if he thinks she's Scottish. Yeah, wear kilt, Blair. I'm not Scottish, you idiot. Anyway, no, this is I don't mind it. I'm interested because I love them all. NXT UK connection, and I love them all individually. So I don't have a problem with together, especially when I feel like this may be a vehicle for us to get Naomi back with Jay and Bianca. But other than putting a match together right there, I don't see a feud between those 6. And but I did kind of find it interesting, unless anybody else has another explanation, that Naomi didn't run out this time. So. Are we getting what she had? She's already mentioned that she would like to turn heel. Could this be a sign of that, or did Triple H just forget, or she's just not there and they're not doing it?
Yeah, Meechin wasn't available, so
right.
Forget about it.
I mean,
Meechin is very overbooked.
The only reason why I would kind of not agree with turning Naomi heel at this point is because they kind of fumbled it. If they were going to do that, they should have done it when.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The bloodline were heel, or the OG bloodline were heel, because she would have been able to make a good female heel addition to the bloodline.
Oh, yeah.
But
keep in mind, I said that's what she wants. Triple H will make her glow forever, probably.
Oh my God, I can imagine it.
Oh my word. Anyway, the main event for SmackDown was Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, because of course Tangaloa couldn't wrestle because he was shit. We got to
leave my boy alone, man.
Johnny Gargano, man. We want you backstage in your hometown, right? Kiss your wife and your kid, right?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna fucking murder you. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
A month
You're
after
a loser,
winning the
John.
titles. Jacob Fatu.
You're a loser.
Yeah, you're a fucking Johnny Loser, not Johnny Wrestling. Jacob Fatu ended up getting a win for the team with his finisher.
Of course he did.
To bring the titles to the Bloodline. I mean, again, Gina, I'll go to you with this one. The Bloodline with the tag titles, it seems a bit sudden, I think would be the right word.
It definitely feels rushed. I mean, I feel like saying, why didn't you do this at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view instead? And just give the Bloodline the tag belts, and then that way they would have already been going into SummerSlam with these belts. It just felt rushed, like they really wanted the Bloodline to have these tag belts going into SummerSlam, even though they're not going to be defending them. It gives some sort of elevated status for them, to have these belts. So it gives even Solo a good look going into this event. If the Bloodline won the tag belts the night before, then why can't Solo win, the main belt? So I get in a way why maybe they did it the night before, but part of me does feel like you should have done this at the last pay-per-view and then had them just boss it for the next month until SummerSlam came and they'd be going in as the champs. So it does feel like it was just rushed, and I feel like it's a bit not mean, but it's a bit mean on Ciampa and Gargano, because they're like, yeah, you guys can, just be placeholders just so that you can move the belts across to the Bloodline.
Yeah, DIY and Dawn on Fire are a bit like, when Triple H says to him, you're going to win the tag titles. And they go, we're going to have a good run, aren't we? And he's like, and they go, we're going to have a good run. He's like, yeah, you're going to have the titles. Just have the titles for a little bit. Enjoy it while you can. It just
he's
seems
like
a bit...
Thor in the Avengers movies where he's like, yeah, of course, you're the captain.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, gonna have a long run, yeah. It just seemed a bit, But again, Gina, it's an excellent point, and Monty again. Does Solo need everything to be considered a legitimate threat? Again, we've seen Solo through NXT days to this point. There's an argument if he's ready or not, but especially with this Bloodline against Cody, does it swing it in their favour a little bit? Will the fans maybe think that?
I do think at the very least it makes you entertain Cody losing to him, because it's like We got Bloodline rules. We just saw, and I think more so it got more because the only chance I'm giving Solo is Jacob. The only chance I'm really even entertaining him is either we don't know and The Rock is gonna pop up or Jacob, because that's the thing that would make the most sense. And Jacob is just that unstoppable. But I'm with you. Where it's like I don't necessarily know if he needs it, but I kind of understand the sentiment because if what we're hoping is going to happen has a chance of happening, which is Roman being brought back into the fold, you want Solo to be as elevated or feel like he has as much of a chance against him as possible. And I don't think at this point anybody would even really entertain that. But at the same time, I don't really I'm with you, James. I don't know if just handing him a bunch of accomplishments right now, trying to rush it into SummerSlam and then take the belt off Cody. I don't know if that's the way to do it either. In my estimation, mostly because think about what happened at WrestleMania and how everything Cody overcame in that match by itself. And then, I get it. You're giving Jacob the rub and saying Jacob and Tama, man, these guys are dangerous. But you mean to tell me Jacob is going to be the difference, and then Solo hits the spike, and then Cody wins? It's one of them things, and it's just it's one of those things that make you really want to consider it. But I think that's the only thing that they kind of did here was really give people maybe a thought towards Solo's way of dethroning Cody. But I'm with you. I don't know. I would have liked Solo to kind of work hard to work in different ways to kind of get to this spot. But at this point, too, I can make the case that Roman's mountain is so big, or where he is so high. What could they have done within Mania to SummerSlam to kind of put Solo there? Other than what? I really don't know what they could do other than what they've done so far, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, he was the enforcer who was losing for Roman or losing in place of Roman for the better part of a year. So it's how do you rectify that in 6 months or whatever, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt. Right, so before we talk about Roman and Solo again, as of course we've got our mass debate coming, we've got predictions in a little bit as well. But Gina, we spoke about this before we started, and talk about the match card in itself, and how excited are you for SummerSlam kind of this year? And you were kind of talking as well about maybe, certain superstars missing as well.
Sorry, say again?
What were you saying earlier about certain superstars missing from SummerSlam? It's a bit of a shame. And what are your thoughts on the card?
Yeah, so again, this is what I mentioned to you guys earlier before the pod went. I'm just a bit shocked at seeing, not that I really would like a huge match card. I'm still shocked at how little it is, especially when they announced a 3-hour sort of pre-show event as well. I expected maybe more matches to be announced for on that show maybe, or just more matches added to the card, because again, there are quite a few big names that they've been involved in a lot of heavy main storylines that are not actually being showcased on the show. For example, the tag team champions, Isla and Alba. Did I get the names right?
Yeah.
Usually I just say Alba and
One
Fire
point.
and then
You get a
realize
point
that
for
I say
that.
the two names. But yeah, so you've got the tag champions. They've not got a match, and yes, they had a match the SmackDown before, but it's you would usually think that they would have something like that even on the pre-show of the card, especially when you got a 3-hour pre-show. There's people like Jey Uso, who's been heavily featured in a lot of different storylines and just main events. He's just not even involved in anything on the match card at all. There's more that we can press on, like Tiffany, even though Tiffany might have some involvement, which I'll mention later in my predictions. Tiffany has been quite hot on the show right now, and she's not involved in any form of match, even though she's not a belt holder. You would have thought that they would have wanted to showcase her maybe even on the pre-show. So it is a little surprising at how small the match card is compared to everybody that they've been elevating the past few weeks.
Yeah, without a doubt. I just want to give you something to say before me and Monty argue for the next kind of 10 minutes or something like that. So mass debate time. And it is Bloodline or Bloodline 2.0. And Monty, I've got no problems taking the new Bloodline. All right. So I'll let you start as well if you want. And basically, it is who would we pick between Bloodline or the new one? That's what it's going to boil down to. So, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I actually was thinking about taking the new one, but I'll let you do it. The original Bloodline.
No, I mean, do you want to take the new one? I mean, I don't mind either or.
No. Do your thing. I'm gonna try my best either way. I just I've been formulating a new Bloodline thought process, but the old one I feel like it's easier. So, but also, like I said, the old I'm gonna go with the old Bloodline, but. The thing is about the
we're already arguing on this.
General. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how easy this start. Yeah, man. I mean, the old Bloodline. We said the sequel always sucks. Usually, we know how it goes when it comes to movies and sophomore albums. A lot of times, the sequel is they just don't measure up to the original. And to be honest, I would start at the top of the head with the Tribal Chief, but that's a little. I'll save him the best for last. But even as a tag team, we have possibly the greatest tag team. If not possibly, they've already had not arguable, the greatest tag team title reign of all time when they were under the banner of the Bloodline. But you have Jimmy and Jey Uso. They created the terminology that everyone who was watching WWE for a period of time, they created that, what everyone was calling cinema, with their storytelling, with their body language, with their verbal storytelling, with the progression. These two guys were twins, two guys that you probably could, some people couldn't even tell them apart. A team that I'm pretty sure, just like me, most people thought you would never be able to believe that they would be apart and be able to stand on their own. But they found a way. They found identities for themselves. Jey Uso is literally, right now as we speak, hot. Right next to Cody Rhodes right now is the hottest babyface. Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, you can go whatever order you want to, but honestly, the reaction that Jey Uso getting, even in Japan, the people are yeeting and are excited to see the yeet man that is Jey Uso. He's always a plus on our television screen. And a lot of that has to do with not because of yeet or not because of what he's become since leaving the Bloodline, but all of that groundwork that was laid in during the storytelling of the Bloodline. I mean, if we're being honest, the elevation of Jey Uso was pretty much the main goal of the Bloodline, outside of giving Roman what he rightfully deserved as his position on top of the company. And I mean, honestly, in the era of the 2020s of WWE, is really the Bloodline and everybody else. Jimmy Uso, as much as I probably could, you would think I don't have much to say about Jim, but he has earned his right. Always a bright spot on your television screen, whether it's making you laugh or even sometimes with the storytelling between what happened to him. He can even pull your heartstrings a little bit, and where you feeling sympathy. Because when Solo turned on him, I don't know, maybe I was the only one. I don't think so though. When he got his head smashed through that chair, I was sympathetic for Jimmy. Even with all the dumb stuff that he was able to do. Matter of fact, he probably has the most sympathetic arc in the entire Bloodline because of the abuse and just wanting to keep his family together, but power and all types of other things getting in the way of that. And then we get to I can't forget the Wise Man, of course, the literally the greatest talker this sport has ever seen, and a Hall of Famer, someone who has single-handedly saved and been responsible for a number of careers that creates the pantheon of greatest pro wrestlers that we can think about, like a Austin, like a Roman Reigns, like a Brock Lesnar. So again, and a CM Punk for that matter. Again, the Wise Man, his legacy, he's in the Hall of Fame. That's all been settled. Everyone knows that. But it was when he came out, he announced his allegiance to Roman Reigns, that everybody knew that, oh shit, this is serious. Roman Reigns is not just the big dog telling you that he's something else. He is the tribal chief. He is the not just the final boss. He is literally the precipice of what it means to be a modern day WWE superstar, and it was because of his run. It was because of what the storytelling and the presence, the air, everything that he has built has been because of what he did with the bloodline. And honestly, why do you think tonight was one of the most anticipated nights that we've ever that we've had going so far this year? It ain't got nothing to do with the dude that's fighting Cody Rhodes. It got everything to do with the possibility, not even a guarantee, just the possibility of those people in Cleveland getting a chance to breathe the same air as the real tribal chief, Roman Reigns. That is my case for the bloodline. They are the standard bearer of today's modern day wrestling and storytelling.
That's a pretty good case. You sure you don't want to swap?
Don't even try to. Don't even try. Just give up. Just give up.
No. Right. So you talk about sequels, great sequels. You know, Empire Strikes Back, Godfather Part 2. You know, can't think of any more at the moment, but I'm sure there's others. And the thing about it is that, just a quick question, Monty. When you think of Roman Reigns, what's the greatest group he's been in?
The bloodline.
You saying the bloodline over the Shield, yeah?
The bloodline.
Yeah, right. So it's the Shield. We all know that. So he's not even like in the greatest group that he's been in his career. And like you said, but Roman Reigns, he's a generational talent. There's no doubt about that. But that's Roman Reigns. That's not the bloodline, is it? Come on, let's be fair. What are the bloodline? What are the original bloodline there for? You know? If we count Solo coming in from the Clash, right? Okay, that's pretty entertaining. But before that, I mean, what really happened in the bloodline? When you think about the new bloodline now and the past 6 months, how much story, how much more kind of meat to the bone has been added because the introduction of, you know, we think about legendary tag teams, as you mentioned, the Usos. You know, you got God, who were kind of dominate. I mean, Monty, I don't know if you're a kind of expert on Japan, but I hear they're pretty successful over there. Yeah, I think that was right. Yeah, you don't need to answer. I know it. And then you kind of got, you know, these other stories. We got kind of Jacob for two, and I don't know of a wrestler, you know, who has made more of an impact in WWE than he has done in such a short space of time, destroying the likes of Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, even laying out the WWE champion Cody Rhodes on his very first night. So we know how successful he's going to be. And that's not even talking about Solo, as we know Solo at the moment with the Tribal Chief. But that's not the story, is it? Because Jacob for two is kind of doing that for him. So we kind of know where that's going. And because of Bloodline 2.0 as well, you have the chance to bring maybe the old Bloodline, you know, dust off the cobwebs of Jimmy Uso, wherever he's been. You know, if that is Jimmy, I'm not sure, you know. Of course, Jay, who's, as we talk about, missing the second biggest show of the year now, whereas the new Bloodline won the tag titles last night. I'm pretty sure they are going to be involved in the main event here tonight. You know, and it just makes me laugh because when you think about the original Bloodline, the best story was Sami Zayn, who wasn't even involved in it. And now with Bloodline 2.0, you've kind of got all this new story going on that you can continue with, which kind of makes them the better version because it feels fresh. How many times, this time last year, Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns was so boring. Come on. It was the same stuff over and over again. It was the injection of what we've seen this year with the new Bloodline and this story that actually makes it more interesting. You know, this is what we're talking about now. The Bloodline has never been more kind of relevant, and that is down to what they're doing with Solo as leader. So that's why Bloodline 2.0 are better than the original ones. By miles, Monty.
You don't even believe that, first of all. Second of all, you know what? The funny thing you mentioned about this is that you say nothing happened until, you know, Solo got into the feud. But, you know, I could have swore Roman has had the belt for what? How long? He had the belt for about 4 years, pretty much. And before that, I remember all-time great, one of the best Hell in a Cell matches I ever seen, which created the formation of the Bloodline, which is Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. But hey, you say in the last however many months it's been since Solo has taken over.
It's only been like 6 months.
The
Yeah,
most
it feels
interesting.
like there's 4 years.
Think about
like
this.
Said,
think about that.
Boring
Think about that. It's only been 6 months, and I don't even remember that. Who knows? All right, they did they had their first achievement the night before SummerSlam. Yay! And it had nothing to do. You got one guy who brought in to wrestle. They won't even let him wrestle because they're afraid that he's gonna screw it up.
They've
screw up
already
their
closed more SmackDowns than Roman Reigns has in the last 2 years. Like Roman did what? One SmackDown every.
First of all, when Roman
weeks,
was on the
Solo
show,
does it every week.
When Roman was on the show, everybody knew it didn't matter if he closed it or not. Every people was there for Roman's segment. It was literal people skipping wrestling just to watch Roman's 2 or 3 backstage segments. That's how much aura, that's how much of a magnet Roman Reigns was. What are the people chanting during Solo's entire run? I don't know. Gina, I know you've been watching SmackDown. You heard the fans chanting something?
Don't get Gina with
Solo. I'm asking the person who's unbiased. Aren't they chanting something, Gina, when Roman? You don't have to say it. I get it. You're still neutral. They've been chanting, "We want Roman."
Solo.
They're chanting, "We want Roman," and it's a reason.
No.
For
I'm not doubting.
You don't even believe
if you're
Solo
comparing Roman and Solo, then yes, I agree with you. Roman is better than Solo.
No.
But Roman
I'm talking about the
I'm talking about
bloodlines.
I'm talking about bloodline. If you put up this bloodline now versus the original bloodline, this bloodline fucking murders them. They're a bunch of killers and fucking people who are dangerous men who are involved. This isn't kind of play along with the Usos with Roman kind of, fucking about.
Now, you weren't saying that when Solo was jobbing out to John Cena at almost 50 years old. You did not think Solo
destroyed Cena. That's a great point. He did destroy John Cena. No one has ever hit 30 Samoan spikes on John Cena. It made him want to retire. That's how bad that beating was.
I almost want to quit to give you a commendable victory because you're working really hard. But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
The issue is
you have to stretch.
You can't have this bloodline without the original.
Without the original, exactly.
The
Everything they're doing is built off of the backs of Roman and Jay and Jimmy. So at the end of the day, I won in my initial pitch, but if you want to go to the weeds of it all, you mentioned that one of them would kill. You mentioned one side would kill the others.
Yeah, it would.
I would argue that if we're adding Sammy to the mix, would that be the case? Are we sure about that? That's all I'm gonna say about that. Are we sure? A guy who beat Gunther is going to let Tonga Lord take him out. A guy who beat Gunther is going to let the Tonga Lord take him out. No. And then you think Jey Uso is going to get pinned by Tama Tonga?
He's the most dangerous of them all because he can do stuff with one eye that other wrestlers can't. No one's wore an eye patch as badass.
Yeah, you're right. He can hit Tama in the head while trying to low blow Kevin
He can
Owens.
hit a low blow on 2 attempts. Like, that man is...
He can get concussed.
All right. But I tell you something, you might win this one.
No, that was a good one, though. That was good.
When I play Jaxie next week, I am not losing McIntyre. I have got my argument. I was ready tonight for McIntyre. That's what I was ready for. Anyway.
I don't know how you're going to win that one, by the way. I'm not trying to start it now, but
I'm going to lose it. There's no point.
I don't know how you...
How can we... He's the hero. I'm going to leave it.
He's the hero.
He is the hero in our story. I will leave it there.
The delusion.
No. Anyway, we've got.
I'm undefeated, by the way. I think in masturbation.
Oh, are you? Oh, good for you. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. We've got to think of a subject. Gina, come up with something that we can beat Monty with. I don't know what it could be. I'm trying to think now.
What is the leader versus Team Forehead?
It's gonna be something like, I don't know, SummerSlam matches 88 to 98 or something like that. That's what I'm gonna.
Something I've never seen.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back, pull something out. So it's predictions, and this is serious because, of course, with the WNR as we do it, it is a prediction league, and to be fair, Gina's done really well. Jaxie has not done very well this year, so we kind of, we'll see what happens. I'm only trying to buy time because I'm trying to find prediction leagues. At the moment, bonus league, Monty on 21, which is disgusting. All right. Gina and I are on 14, 7 points behind. Jackson on 8. AEW, James and Jackson on 2, Gina Monty on 1. And WWE, at the moment, James Monty on 4, Gina, you're on 2, Jackson on 1. So what this means, Gina, I don't want to put any pressure on, but you really need a win here, because if Monty gets one, he's starting to move away, and we can't have that, all right? We can't.
Collusion.
I'm not saying collusion. I'm just saying Gina really needs a win. No pressure. No pressure whatsoever.
Gina, take tonight off. You don't need one.
So we'll start off with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Damian Priest versus Gunther. Like we said, 7 matches we've got. And the all thing they've got in common is that they're all single matches as well. But we've got Priest and Gunther. So, Gina, why don't you start us off? Or she might have quit. We don't know. we are not sure. I'm sure she'll go back. Monty, you're still there, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, so
It
you
says
start
she's here, but I don't know.
I don't know. Start us off. She might be on mute. So start us off with Priest and Gunther.
Okay. So again, this one was tougher than originally I thought. I think for months now. I think we all kind of pretty much since the King of the Ring. I've just basically just pretty much thought that it didn't matter who it was walking into SummerSlam. That Gunther was probably going to be the one to take the world title off him. I've seen some different ring opinions though, and some interesting thoughts. Bash in Berlin is, I think, right at the end of August. So it's one of those things to where it's like, do you have him walk in as champ, or are you entertaining him getting another shot? How do we get there? Is my question. But are you entertaining him getting another shot and then winning it there? Interesting. I don't know. I mean, I do think this feud has revved itself up to where I probably could entertain a Priest rematch or something, but because I think this is like they've done a good job of making this personal enough to where it's like, okay, you can see this being deeper than just one thing, and then Priest is doing something else. But to me, I just think all the signs are still pointing to Gunther winning, and maybe Finn Balor, maybe something happening to where it doesn't happen. But honestly, they don't really need to. Gunther can just beat him. And I think it'll still be reasonable. I don't really think a screwy finish is necessary, but I don't know. I just every match Priest has had, every match he's won has had some type of involvement. So I think either this match is going to continue that trend or it won't. And if it don't, I don't think Priest can beat Gunther. But I think, can I entertain Priest beating him on his own merit? That's just so tough when I can only think when there's only 3 people in the whole in his entire run. There's only 3 people who have beaten Gunther, right? Yeah, and it's just like, can I see Priest doing that? Is he in the Dragunov, Sami Zayn, and is he in that ilk? And I don't know, man. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm going with Gunther.
Well, this is the crazy thing. Like, I feel it's harder to go against Gunther getting pinned than it was against Drew getting beaten in Scotland. And I know that sounds crazy, but
right.
to see like the 1, 2, 3 on Gunther, and again, my issue with like interference in this is like I'm expecting interference in a few other matches.
Yeah,
so again,
I don't think it should happen, to be honest.
Do you know what I mean? Like, are they going to have that split now? Maybe it makes more sense at the Bash to have Finn do it there. With Priest for his rematch, and then, but again, they've still got tag gold, even though the Bloodline have now as well, I suppose. But yeah, it's difficult. Like, if Priest was to win, I wouldn't be that surprised, but I would expect like a lot of shenanigans, if you know what I mean. But,
yeah, exactly.
The way they've gone about
I think if Finn leaves, JD is going with him. He's a scumbag.
Yeah,
JD's going to follow Finn. So the tag belts are safe in my opinion.
Yeah, and Carlito will go with a PlayStation, isn't he? So again, yeah, I think,
right.
Yeah, I think Gunther is the kind of the right choice there. I still don't know if Gina's here or that. Maybe she's gone to the toilet. Like, we just don't know. Is she there?
I think she's trying. So it must be technical going on. I don't know.
I don't know. So we'll both us go on Gunther. We'll check in with Gina in a minute. We'll move on to our next match, which is the Women's Championship match, Bayley versus Nia Jax. And again, this is interesting, isn't it? Because when you've got these kind of two women involved, and the story very similar to Gunther and Priest, with both winning King or Queen of the Ring, as it was, and now coming to this point, you think maybe Jack's victory, but again, it's with Bayley. Maybe she's not had the kind of booking leading up to this point, but she's still kind of well liked, isn't she? You know, as we know.
Yeah.
But then you've got the kind of the Tiffany thing. But again, I've got a reason maybe why she won't. I mean, what you thought? Because again, would it hurt Jax if she was to kind of fail here?
I don't really think so because she's such a believable character, and every match she has, for the rest of Nia Jax, anytime Nia is in a situation, in my opinion, she has an advantage physically to the point to where it's like you can make the case that Nia can always be. She's kind of like we talking about with Bobby Lashley. You can always make the case that they can be the world champion, and I think Nia has that element too. I think the best case I can see from Nia is if you're trying to tell me they hasn't done this on TV. But I'm just saying, like, if she had ties to what Solo had going on, then I could definitely be like, oh, yeah, no, guaranteed, whatever. But I'm with you. I think the difference here is, in my opinion, when you gave Priest the World Heavyweight title and you got out of that Money in the Bank situation with him, you wondering about what goal can you achieve. And I think they've achieved the goal. Whether you want Priest to be a face or not, I think you mentioned it earlier, Jay. He comes off as cool. He is confident. He just seems like so much more of a badass. He seems established now with this run. Even if his wins have not been like convincing or just like by himself so far, you know, I think he has done a good job and he has carried himself so well to where people are behind him to where I think a goal was achieved for Priest if he loses. And he loses to a guy like Gunther who is rare for him to even ever lose. And I don't think anything changes. I think for Bayley, on the other hand, in her title run, it's just still so much more potential and so much more she could do on top, in my opinion, and with other talent. I just don't think that these situations are the same in that regard. Even with the Tiffany element, with Nia as a champ, do you have Nia be the champion? And the whole entire angle now for the rest of the year is Nia pulling the strings on whether or not, and then we like wonder, will Tiffany take advantage? Will Tiffany? Whatever, like I just don't know. They've never really done it that way, especially with two heels or two people that we know that's gonna be here. I know Tiffany is popular, but I think me and you both know, James, she's way better suited as this current character of a heel instead of turning face just because people really like her. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think this is one of the ones where I think it's different, and I'm gonna go with Bayley retaining just because I feel like so much more that Bayley can do. Like. A clash with Bianca. The fact that she could be women's champion and still having one-on-one Bianca, or maybe a return in Charlotte one day, because I know Charlotte is getting close. That could be something that she can do with Bayley. Like again, it's just so much stuff, in my opinion, that still can be done, and she can still elevate other talent too. And even like we talked about with Naomi, if they ever wanted to turn Naomi, Bayley is a perfect person to do it to. Do she need the belt for it? Maybe not, but I just think that Bayley still has a lot more to do.
Yeah, I think without a doubt. And again, Gina was saying about Tiffany Stratton as well, maybe getting involved. I don't know if she's back yet.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I told everybody you're having a shit. So
oh my God, I was speaking. I don't understand. I don't even understand. It didn't even chuck me out. I was speaking and I thought you guys were just ignoring me.
No, you're not Jaxie. No.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened. So I am sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I was talking about Tiffany not having like an actual match at SummerSlam and the possibility of her being involved. And I do feel like she possibly could play a part in this match. My prediction is that Nia will win. And Jaxie also has put Nia to win. And Jaxie also put that Tiffany will be there, but she won't cash in. She might help Nia win, though. So again, I think like we've all kind of we've both kind of loved this little like team up between them both, and I don't necessarily see Tiffany cashing in on Nia, but I do see Tiffany holding that briefcase for a long time. So I can see Nia possibly winning it. So yeah, we've both gone with Nia.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you don't get a new briefcase just to cash in 2 days later or a day later.
Exactly.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, and
I don't
also,
know if you want me to.
Yeah, we did Priest and Gunther as well. Yeah.
So Jax has gone with Gunther to win, and she's put either Finn, Carlito, or JD will show up and cause distraction again on purpose or by accident, costing Damien the match. So that's her prediction. I'm going with Damien to retain. I know it's a risk and a gamble, but there's just something about me. I feel like, as Monty touched on, I feel like this match might be repeated for the Berlin show, and I think maybe he'll get the win there. But I've gone with Priest to retain.
Oh, that's cool. We'll start you now then with the an easy one, I think. United States Championship match, Logan Paul versus LA Knight. I mean, Gina, this, again, I say easy, when a few other matches are kind of quite tough. I'm going, yeah, this is all right.
Yeah, I mean, with this one, the thing is, you would think that they're going to go with the hometown favourite, but in this case, I definitely think it's the opposite. Both myself and Jax have gone for LA Knight to win this one. Not that it's about time for him to lose it, but I think like the way they've been pushing LA Knight, he has to get the win here. He actually needs to.
Monty, I mean, I think it's a clean sweep.
Yeah, no arguments here, man. I think besides the fact that Logan is an idiot and he's just let's not even go there. But besides that, I think even without that, the LA Knight should be the one to win because, like you mentioned, I think it's been 2 Money in the Bank now since basically LA Knight felt like the hottest thing in wrestling. And I remember the first Money in the Bank when he really was just kind of really starting to really get hot. Everybody wanted him to win that Money in the Bank. And then this past one, people thought it was an opportunity. If it wasn't going to be Jay, LA Knight made sense. And I think, besides obviously the Drew stuff. So I think, honestly, like you mentioned, Jay, how long we're going to keep saying strike while the iron is hot in his case? And I think this is the time. He has to, I think, you don't want to give him a world title. United States mid-card title is perfect.
Yeah, without a doubt. We then have the Intercontinental title match, Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker. I'm a huge fan of Sami Zayn. There's no doubt about that. But again, I think with this one, it can only go really one way. I think Bron has made his case as one of the kind of most exciting guys. And we saw him in NXT, but he just feels different on the main roster,
Yeah, he's made for this. I think that's what you kind of see, and how easy and how fast he's kind of gained popularity, the reactions every week, the way they're building him up. Like he's gonna be one of those guys, like you said, you mentioned earlier, he's gonna be in and off Raw for years to come. I think that's 100% the case. And I think honestly, I think that since they decided to do the angle with Dragunov instead of including him to make this a triple threat, that's where I felt like Sami Zayn's chances of retaining in my opinion, tonight kind of went away because I felt if they made it a triple threat, then you can make the case Sami gets it and he continues to run and they can come back and revisit Braun getting that win. But I think if you're just going to do 2 straight in a row, the first match made sense. He was cocky. Like we mentioned, they've already told the story. He overlooked him. Now, without overlooking Sami, I think the effective story to tell is Bron Breakker overcoming Sami and winning the match and just continuing on with a dominant IC title run. And I think I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah. And there's one thing we know as well, Gina, is that Zayn can, bounce back from a defeat. Even if that has happened. I mean, I don't know what your prediction is.
Yeah. So my prediction on this one is for Braun to win it. I went with Braun to win the last match with them. and he didn't. So for me, I'm like, they can't do a second match and have Braun lose. But not only that, I do feel, me personally, I kind of see Sammy's story kind of taking him into a bloodline related story again. So for me, I feel like if he does lose here, it's not going to hurt him in any way, shape, or form, because there's still things to be done with Sammy and his character. So I've gone with Braun for the win. And let me just double check Jaxie's predictions. Oh yeah, she's gone Braun as well.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, you know. It's weird as well talking about your pick for Priest, but the World Heavyweight title, I've been more wrong with that prediction than anything else since it's introduced. It really fucking pisses me off. But we talk about the women's world title, which is Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. And, I mean, I think we're all expecting a certain thing to happen. I mean, would that be fair to say, Gina, that we're all expecting Dom to show up and to finally make a choice?
Yeah. So the thing is, both me and my sister have conflicting views on what's going to happen. We've both gone with Liv for the win, and just to retain. And we both agree that Dom will be involved. So my sister thinks that Dom will get involved by accident, and that he's actually trying to help Rhea, but instead he's actually going to cost her. And I actually think that Dom is going to get involved on purpose and turn on Rhea. So
right,
two slightly different outcomes.
I like it, though. But Monty, which way are you going to go? Are you going to go big split or accidental?
Yeah, I love this. We having this conversation, but guess what, James? I think Rhea kind of messed this up for anybody who think it would be an accident, because didn't she mention that she told Dom to stay away, meaning Dom shouldn't even be here. So if Dom shows up at all, how can you argue that it's an accident when you shouldn't even be? I mean, you could try to argue it, but you see what I'm trying to say? Like, if he's not supposed to be there, it's not an accident. So I feel like if we see Dom face at all, we know who he picks, and I think that should probably be Liv. I think it would be a disservice. This is the one thing I will say. I love Rhea Ripley. I think we all love Mommy. We know I made that argument for her, and I actually mean a lot of what I'm saying. Pretty much everything I said. I think she really is, basically, if not the top woman, she's right there, 2 or 3 right now in wrestling, not WWE. So we love her, but I feel like this will be a very bad and just one of those, you're just cutting the legs off of all of that character work you've been doing, in my opinion, for Liv, if she don't retain. Whether it's Dom or not, maybe it's Finn and Dom don't show up or something. I just feel like Liv definitely has to win, because I just think this revenge tour, everything we've done for Liv to make her feel like a threat and feel like she's even remotely close to Rhea, gets undone if she just goes down there and have a regular match or something and just loses, in my opinion. It's just, to me, that's just the way I don't see Rhea walking out of here as champ yet, especially when you have a pay-per-view coming up later called Bad Blood, where they can run it back in a different stipulation. Like, this is such a great feud to keep going, and I think the best way to keep it going is by having Liv walk out as champion. But yeah, man, I can't wait to see, because this is one of those things. I love the fact that we have an angle this hot between women from a storytelling standpoint, where it's not even just about what they do in the ring. I want to know where we're going from a storytelling standpoint with these people. And I think that's the best part about this storyline.
Well, I don't know if I said this before, right? But again, if Rhea and Damien both lose, right? And again, you talk about Rhea being like top women's star, or she's one of the best stars. You know, her and Priest, even at that kickoff and together, like, imagine them going on this kind of Rhea rampage. Do you know what I mean? With the two of them. If Judgment Day,
they call themselves the Terror Twins. So just imagine them bringing it.
But again, I can see them, right,
Yeah.
going for tag titles.
Like, right.
What's stopping Ripley
beating JD and Finn?
Yeah, like, Ripley is tougher than JD in my eyes.
Right.
Like, why couldn't we see that? Like, again, the possibilities there. Again, for me, Dom has to make the cut tonight. I want to see a full turn on Ripley. I want to see the crowd full. She said at the kickoff as well, she loved Dom. So again, the L word's been mentioned. So if Dom can do that, and then you can give the heat to Liv, and like I said, the heat for Liv and Dom for the next couple of months because
Oh,
Ray
my
will win
goodness.
it back at some point. But my God, that promo on Raw or SmackDown will be, electric.
Neither one will be able to talk probably.
No, not at all. You
You're
know
the
what I mean?
bull.
And again, you've got bad blood, so Rhea Ripley can hold Dom and Liv's fucking heads in her hand.
Mhm.
And again, who knows? With Ripley, she's so good. I honestly, like a tag title run or she sees China as an influence. I can see that. She is against Apollo Crews or Baron Corbin. She'd wipe the floor with them. Like, let's not, anyway.
I mean, remember when she did the Wesley?
That's what I'm saying.
Riptide him like he was not a grown man.
She just can. So, yeah, I'm going Liv with Dom finally making that decision. And again, you can have the Judgment Day problems up until next month where you can have like the full split, where Finn makes his decision or whatever else like that as well. But again, it's great because they're going to have a lot more questions heading out as we are going in as well, which, again, when you think about the matches we got in the next match, which is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as special guest referee, there's a lot going on. I want to go last on this because obviously I'm going to have a lot to say.
Dramatic effect.
I know. Gina, what are your thoughts? Punk versus Drew. The true hero in this story versus CM Punk.
Well, I'm not going to lie, this is probably one of the hardest matches that I've had to try and call because I think it would be a lot easier if it was just a normal referee in the match. But with Seth being involved, it's just
True.
like you have just no idea how this is going to go. Like, I doubt that he's going to favor one over the other because he hates them both. But it's also like, are they going to do a flip up of some sorts? Like anything could happen in this match. And it's just really hard to call at this point. I have gone for Drew to win. I really have no idea in the sense of what capacity, whether there's going to be tomfoolery, whether it's going to be clean, anything like that. I'm just going to straight up go with Drew for the win. My sister, she's gone with Drew as well for the win, and she's put Seth will get involved somehow, losing his shit at Punk, and during that, Drew will capitalize and get the win. So that's her kind of prediction in regards to the match. But yeah, this one is super difficult to call, but I'm still going to go with Drew for the win.
Do you think there's going to be a holy shit or a cheer when the bell rings finally? Do you know what I mean? Like the build up to that when they're finally facing off in the ring and the bell rings, I reckon there's going to be a huge cheer. Monty,
I think there will.
Sorry, Gina.
No, I was just agreeing. I think there will be.
Damn right. Monty?
Yeah, man, I agree with everything Gina just said about it being so tough. Like, it's really, especially with the added referee thing. Like, it's not. I agree with you from a storytelling standpoint, James. That Self don't need to be there, but really from a prediction standpoint, like, man, you made this a whole lot worse than. I'm pretty sure without Self, everybody can see like the return of the century. First one-on-one match in forever. Also, I can see this still being like a trilogy. So, like, you want to take the in my opinion, you should probably take Punk if you see them fighting 3 times, because I can see Punk finishing it all. But if you think Drew gonna win the entire series or whatever, then maybe you would go with Drew here. I don't know, man. This is tough. This is really, really tough. Like, again, I think from a storytelling standpoint, the thing that makes it even harder is that you can make an angle for each side because we know where everybody stands going into this. And I think that's the thing about it. I went for a Drew last pay-per-view, and I'm gonna keep it simple to this, man. My first gut the entire time has been Punk, and I don't like switching on my gut. I don't mind. I wouldn't be surprised if it go the way that you just said it, because that's basically the way I've been thinking about it this entire last week. But honestly, I feel like some type of way, even with the chicanery, maybe we can, maybe somehow, Self takes a Claymore or something, and we get a regular ref to come actually count the 3 or something like that. I can see that playing. I don't know. I just want to pick against my gut. I'm going with Punk. Even if I'm wrong, I'll take it. It makes sense. But yeah, I think think he's gonna win his first match back in a decade. And if he don't, I get it. I love it from a storytelling standpoint, but I don't know. I just couldn't get off. I just couldn't choose against him in this situation, and maybe I'll regret it.
You're telling me, after 10.5 years and his very first singles match,
Yeah,
they are going to let a man who is lost in his home country, lost in his home
right.
fucking city, lost every opportunity he possibly had this last 6 months, and walk out of SummerSlam as champion, I say, as winner. The thing is that a lot of people are talking about SummerSlam 97 with, obviously, Shawn costing Undertaker. And again, I've no doubt something that's
great finish.
But who's going to get screwed? Will it be
Right.
Punk, who hasn't been outfoxed once, really? Or maybe once when he was beating Chicago, but we didn't see it, right? The thing is, it was like, what has Drew fucked up the past, 8 months? And you know he's gonna be in control, right? It's more like Shawn Michaels and Triple H at SummerSlam 2002. Like, he's going to be beating him down. You know, he'll taunt Seth Rollins. He'll fucking get in his face, whoever it is, get hit with a chair or something like this, into the GTS, lose, his arm will be up, Punk will take back the Larry and the fucking AJ Lee bracelet, put it on his hand, stare at Seth and kind of have this mutual kind of, you're not too bad really type shit, which will kind of wait a couple of months until it really blows into effect.
Till they turn,
like you said,
right.
And then you have the Drew kind of, the screw victory, whatever show, and then blow it off with a Hell in a Cell match, you know? Like, it's if Drew wins, I'll be fucking more than happy. But it's just the way WWE is, and again, I'm going to go CM Punk. If Seth ends up screwing
you
Punk,
guys make me feel so bad now. I literally I'm screwing myself.
No, but do you know what I'm saying, though?
No.
What has McIntyre done to deserve this? Like, all the other booking against him.
No. Let me swap my prediction.
What?
Whoa,
Let me swap my
really?
prediction.
What, are you going to swap? What? I don't know if that's allowed.
No. You're not doing this to me. You're not going to put all of that out about Punk.
It's not a mass debate, is it? Like,
expect me to feel confident that Drew actually is going to win this now.
This is part of my debate against Jaxie. So you're going to go. So you're going to leave Jaxie hanging.
No, I'm changing Jaxie to Punk as well. I'm making a
You
concession.
can't change Jaxie. You can't change Jaxie. You can't change hers, I'm afraid.
No, but if she loses it, then I'll take the blame.
Yeah, you take the blame, but you can switch to Punk, but she can't. So I mean, and that's that's because she's got a life.
That's fine.
Punish you for having a life. Wow.
And, funny if Drew wins now. Anyway, the main event will be Solo versus Cody. And again, Monty, we spoke about it. Roman Reigns' return, The Rock showing up, Eugene. Like, what could happen?
If Eugene shows up, I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. We've been there, done that. Please. But yeah, no, man. This match is something that the Bloodline Rules match. It depends on how you look at things. I think the Bloodline Rules added this element of like, okay, Bloodline Rules. So either Jimmy's gonna show up and Roman or whatever, or you can, like you said, you can make the case that the last time we saw the Bloodline Rules, who was involved? Dwayne was involved. They've been really quiet on that front. I know the building is going to go crazy if that final boss version hits and not Roman, because then it's like, oh my goodness, that means maybe the ancestors also agree that Solo is the chief now, and like, it's so many ways you can go with that if they want to go that far. But the fact that the fact that they've done a great job of keeping it being so quiet is the only thing that's making me being like, no, I don't think so. Because if The Rock was getting bored, if anything was moving around in that regard, I feel like someone would not be able to keep their mouth shut. But hey, the few times the WWE's been able to keep a surprise quiet, a la CM Punk, those have been some of the greatest moments to end pay-per-views that we've ever had. So, man, it's really interesting, man, when you think about it. But I just don't see it, man. Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, has to win. Roman will probably help him win before I see Cody Rhodes losing to Solo, unless, like I said, The Rock is going to be involved in that also. And I just cannot. I will never. It's hard for me to ever guarantee that you will see The Rock. So I'm just gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Cody winning. And I do expect to hear Roman music and see Roman and Jimmy, maybe even a return in Paul, maybe even have a neck brace or something. But I don't know. I feel like that would be the perfect way to finish this off, because there's been a lot of slander towards that tribal chief throne, and it just feels like, how can that go unpunished for this long? Unless, of course, the unfortunate passing of his father pushed back some of those plans, and then you never really know where we're going. But I'm gonna go with Cody winning, and yeah, Cody's gonna survive some way somehow.
Well, I'm worried about saying something just in case Gina changed the fucking prediction again. But again, what I will say,
That's a normal thing, James.
well, I'm going to say we're doing this a while. Anyway, I will say as well with McIntyre and Punk. Once McIntyre loses, he'll attack Punk afterwards and lay him out. Might even be a stretch job or something like that. He'll get his heat back. As for this
beat
one,
down, definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised if... So, right, at WrestleMania, you know when all the shenanigans happened? The first person out was Seth Rollins, wasn't it? Or was he the last? I can never remember. Seth came out, and then it was Cena, and then Undertaker, wasn't it? That was the kind of the three, I think. So, if you had that with this one, would it be like Randy Orton and Kevin Owens? And then the third one... Roman Reigns, maybe, if they were going to do something like that with face-offs, Again, I can't see, after Cody beating Roman at Mania, losing to Solo, unless, like you said, there is a final boss. And who knows? Gina?
Who knows, man?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I've gone with Cody for the win here. I don't see Solo getting the win over Cody. I think they'll have a great match, and I think Cody will still make the match seem like he's fighting for his life, But I ultimately think we'll see Cody get the win here. I do agree. I feel like there will be some showcase at the end of Roman. I personally don't have any predictions in terms of how things are going to happen. Jax has said that she's gone with Cody for the win, and she said Hikuleo will make a debut at the end of the match, giving way to Roman's return. And so I think that she feels that there's going to be, the back and forth as one comes out each way, and KO and Randy will be coming out. But then when they start to get, and then the Bloodline will get a next one over with Hikuleo making his debut. And then ultimately Roman's music will then drop, and whether he kind of comes running out or whether he just stares out Hikuleo at the end, that's to be said. But she also put a note to say, I feel ultimately Cody and Randy will get phased out before War Games, and Jay, Jimmy, Sammy, Roman, and KO will go against the new Bloodline. Yeah. So that's what she said.
We're waiting for Owens or Orton to turn on each other, aren't we? So I mean, that's gonna happen at some point. But
me and Jax were having this conversation about whether Orton's gonna turn on Cody and ultimately have that feud between those two happening, And in terms of like bloodlines with numbers, obviously there's Roman with the Usos, but maybe KO and Sammy could make up the other two, because those two are still kind of heavily involved either with the bloodline or against the new bloodline. So anything could happen here, but it's good because we got a lot to speculate.
I think that's the interesting thing, and I think that's what's changed with predictions over the last few years, that we've been doing them rather than trying to guess the card. There's more of a long-term effect on everything that we're looking at. Even with Priest and Rhea Ripley kind of with the Judgment Day and what's going to happen there in the months to come. And again, like you said, with new kind of mid-card champions as well. Zayn will then be free to kind of join the Bloodline stuff that we're hoping to happen in the main event. And of course, you know, the match that I've been looking forward to, probably one of the, I can't remember the last time I looked forward to a match this much as CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, because like win or lose, like we just deserved this match. You know, like we said, we've seen the feud and all this stuff, and we just, worst case scenario is like Punk gets injured within the first couple of minutes and then we're fucked. But
and
let's
I was
hope.
just about to say that I think no matter if you like Punk or not, based on the storytelling that we've had, you may hate him personally or love him, but I just want him to get through healthy. That's all I really want, because I don't. How sad would it be if another catastrophic type of situation happened? Like, I just, at the end of the day, you can hate him, but I would like him to get healthy. I mean, stay healthy in this regard.
Yeah, I think that's down, you know. So, Gina, you get the last words then. What are your hopes for SummerSlam tonight before we finish? Because we have gone quite long.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it's going to be a great card of matches. I do think that this is going to be the SummerSlam of tomfoolery. I think a lot of the matches have scope to have interference, and there are loads of people who have been involved in several of like kind of the feuds that are going on that could possibly make appearances in all of these matches. So I don't really have a want to come out of this, but if anything, it would be great to see Daddy Reigns come back.
Yeah, I mean, Jaxie's just said she wants to change. I mean, if she was listening, then she might have joined. You know, I'm just saying, like, you know, but
I mean, she might be too drunk to coherently speak, maybe, but she clearly
doesn't stop her most weeks, does it? Do you know what I mean? Like, she's always drunk. I'm not gonna like, we know her problem. We've told her this.
I'm gonna say, let her change so we all can be wrong together, and we can all be right together. Then, I guess.
I couldn't believe how strong my argument was. Like, that must have been the base, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
I agree with everything you said, though. So I was like, see, I'm glad you're the same mind as me, you know, for a change. So, yeah, no, but you convinced them to switch their prediction. This, like you said, this is not a debate.
I've got power.
Yeah.
Like, my God. I'm an influencer.
Just James, you did well, Monty, with your storytelling analogy and everything. You make me want to switch.
Cool. That was me, man. Yeah, after him, you were like, yeah, whatever. Like, with me, you were like, fucking change everything. Like, my God.
Well, I thought
please
have
give
your
James
say.
credit.
I want to interrupt.
Please give James the credit.
I've done a quiz and everything. We've had a great time tonight. And again, it's just like... Monty won another masturbate. What more can I do? That's it. I can't do any more. My voice is going to go. Don't forget, next week we will have the SummerSlam review. Hopefully, Jaxie, if you're listening, you will be back, and I will beat you at the masturbate as well. Don't forget, we're across all social media. I'm at the WNR. Well, I'm not at the WNRJR. I've actually changed it now to WNR Pod James, just to kind of be fun. I don't know why. Monty, where can people find you? I get bored.
At my Monty Pod. That has not changed. I'm still there.
Gina?
You can find me on X and Instagram and Twitch at Purple Pain. Join me for some Yakuza gaming. I play on Mondays and Saturdays.
Ooh. And Double also on Facebook and Instagram, across all Google platforms. Send us an email at doublepodcast@gmail.com. YouTube and podcast with all latest clips and podcasts go at the same time on YouTube. Do SoundCloud on your phone, also Spotify and iTunes. We can download, subscribe, rate, and review there. So that is it. And like I said, our next episode is SummerSlam review, which is next weekend. And SummerSlam actually starts in about 45 minutes. So it's probably been the closest finish to the start of the event. So that's going to be good. We're going to get straight into it. But until then, I've been James Rowlands, and I was joined by the mind of Monty. Well done, Monty, tonight. I mean, you showed out in the quiz, and like I said, I'm glad you and I have gone for the same predictions because you've been on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, so like and then we're both tied at the top. So like I feel I'm good too because even if I screwed up tonight, you screwed up. So yeah, it's a great plus. It's a great plus, that when we agree, it's great. I love the pressure when we don't agree because it's like I need this, like especially when everybody disagrees with me. But man, it's good when you can be a little bit safe at the top of the block. Ideally, we both should win. That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for.
And of course, the genius of Gina. And Gina, I'm just, when it comes to predictions and everything else. But I think tonight you showed just how much you've kind of grown on this podcast. You know that. And I'm proud of you. I want to say that right now. I might be 10 drinks in and whatever else, but my God, no, in all seriousness, it's a good show and good luck for predictions.
Oh no, honestly, I'm so proud of myself and I appreciate you guys being proud of me too. I hope I've made our listeners proud as well with that knowledge. But I've had super...
Well, Monty didn't say it, but I did. But again, no, don't worry.
I'm assuming he's proud of me, okay? Let me assume.
Yeah, you should hear what he says.
I'm not proud of you. I knew you were going to do great. I knew it.
No. Well, either way, I've enjoyed it and I look forward to the next quiz and seeing how well I do.
Well, that is it. Thanks for listening, everybody, and enjoy SummerSlam. Bye.